Yeah, good evening, members. Today we are happy to invite and to see you in this 30th VCM of series Beating the Monday Blues, being organized on the topic CA Extraordinary Professionals and Refund in GST. So, sir, this will continue from 4 o'clock to 7 p.m. In fact, after this from 10th of January till 23rd of January, we have not organized this Wednesday series and Monday series due to the international conference. So we are happy to see the large gathering today. And sir, we have today's speaker, Mr. Puru Verma, who will be talking on the CA Extraordinary Professionals. And we have CA Praveen Ji, who will be talking about the refund in GST. Whose branch of the today's event is Bareilly branch. And I would like to invite Chairman of the Bareilly branch, CA Sudhir Malhotra Ji, for his welcome speech. Sudhir Ji, welcome.
Thank you,
And just, yes, sir.
Firstly, I welcome to कमिश्नर सोनी जी, जो कि हमारी चेयरपर्सन हैं सीपीई कमेटी की, चरणजीत सिंह जी नंदा जी, जो कि वाइस चेयरमैन हैं, और हमारे आज के एमिनेंट स्पीकर प्रकाश पुरू वर्मा जी, न्यू दिल्ली, on the topic of the extraordinary professionals, and CA Praveen Dandaria ji from Ahmedabad on the matter of the refund under GST. We welcome all of you, sir. And firstly, I am telling about the Institute CPE committee. CPE committee helps us in a lot of way to enrich our knowledge. And Institute of a Chartered Accountant of India has always remained at the forefront to accept the changes and the proactive adopting the emerging technology to overcome the challenges emerged in the global economy. Recent changes occurred due to the pandemic COVID-19 has invited great demand for the pandemic shift in the professional work, as well as for the specialization of the professionals in core areas and substantial knowledge of the allied areas. The ICAI, through its CPE committee, has come up with the several enabling measures and initiatives in order to promote knowledge as the ultimate weapons by providing training to our members to enable them to remain in tandem with the changing business environment. CPE keeps its members updated with the recent amendments in exciting and newly emerging areas of specializing learning in offline and online modes via numerous initiatives and supports in fulfillment of their mandatory CPE hours requirements through structured and unstructured activities. CPE committees has launched so many things to enrich the knowledge of our members by launch of the ICAI continuing professional learning mechanism brochures, issuance of the manuals of the VCM's guidelines for all CPE POUs, and also separate specific manuals for various categories of the CPE POUs, and developing of the standardized programs, structures for organizing CPE programs. CPE had taken initiatives and launched 2 CPE learning series of online CPE events from June 2021. One is 360-degree learning series of Wednesday Words Wisdom on every Wednesday, and another is Beating the Monday Blue on every Monday. This program is also on the same theme of the Beating the Monday Blue. CPE surveys to understand members' needs of the CPE programs, monitoring of the CPE POUs, and ensuring compliance of the guidelines. To ensure the compliance of the various CPE guidelines, rules, and directions by the CPE POUs for their continuous improvements and better functioning, the CPE POUs are being monitored and supervised throughout the year. CPE have introduced so many things to enrich the knowledge of the members by IT initiatives undertaking by the CPE committee, CPE portals. By this, we can get CPE learning systems and also make it more user-friendly. Members may check upcoming programs VCM at this website. CPE program portals can also be accessed through CPE programs, segments of the ICAI mobile apps, ICAI Now, and is available on Android and iOS platforms. CPE Samadhan is CPE question and answer e-solution forums have also provided us for to keep the knowledge upgraded by the question answer systems on e-solution forums. ICAI, ICE, ICAI interactive CPE enablers. CPE committee has started ICAI ICE, which is an ICAI interactive CPE enablers. Members make access ICE portal https ICAI.org by entering 6-digit IC ID for each of the CPE programs and make key in their questions before the during the program. IC code may be used by members after approval of the programs, enabling them to ask the questions in advance and to get the answer during the sessions by the respective faculties related to his topic, depending upon availability of time. The new norms for continuing professional educations post-COVID-19 public gathering was prohibited. Therefore, development of the robust online platforms become necessary to offer the continuing learning, which can be accessible at any time from anywhere. Taking proactive steps, ICAI adopted a new delivery systems of e-learning and virtual programs for members and converted the challenges into opportunities. The new normal, since then, e-learning and virtual programs come to the forefront for learning, therefore witnessing a pandemic shift while organizing CPE system. So CPE committee is very useful for all of us, and we are very much thanks to our institute to provide us these knowledge to all our members, for all of our members. And I think now I am hand over my mic to Ajit Nath.
Thanks, Suryaji, for elaborating the CP activities, in so detail. So today's member has got knowledge about the CP activities as well. So I would like to, say thanks to chairman and vice chairman of CP committee, Kamisha ma'am and Nandaji also. By chance today they are not able to join, initially at the start of the program due to some unavoidable reasons. And maybe vice chairman would be joining at around 5:30. So then he will be also informing the members see how the CP committee is doing the things and what are the future plans. In fact, we are, lucky to have Mr. Puru Verma who will give insight what top Cs are doing for make them extraordinary professional and top gainers. And we have CA Pramitji who will help you knowing the refund process from start to end. So not, taking much time. Now I would like to request CA Prakash Sharma ji from Bareilly branch to give introduction of today's speaker, Mr. Puru Verma. Mr. Prakash Sharma ji.
Probably Shed is not
Sudhir
joined yet.
ji, so may I request you to meanwhile, probably I think there is some network issue might happen. So Sudhir ji, I would request you to please give introduction, of the today's speaker, Mr. Puru Verma.
Just I am
Sudhir, meanwhile, I think you are finding it difficult to trace the profile.
I'm
So
just
I
tracing
would
his
no, no,
biodata.
it's all right, sir. It's all right, sir. Just if your permission, I can give introduction.
Yes, sir.
है ना? So just telling about the short profile of Puruji, who is today's speaker. He is an excellent installation specialist and NLP expert. With his deep understanding of human behavior, psychology, and neurology, he has accomplished feats such as waking somebody up from a severe coma or helping dyslexic children. He is a first generation contributor to excellence installation technology, the technology that brings instant transformation in people's core nature traits and capabilities to help them grow and evolve exponentially faster. At just age of 26, he has recently been awarded by Business World magazine with the prestigious Business World 40 Under 40 award for being one of the top experts in the area of well-being and personal transformation in India. So with this, I would like to invite Mr. Puru Verma to talk about what the extraordinary professionals they are doing and how our members they can get benefited from your session. Puruji, welcome.
Thank you so much, Ajit ji. Thank you so much, Sudhir ji. मैं अजीत जी का जो मेन इंट्रोडक्शन से पहले थोड़ा सा जो पहले उन्होंने मेरे बारे में बोला मैं उसको सुन रहा था एंड he mistakenly called me a CA. He called me CA Puru Verma, and I have to tell you I'm very flattered to be called a chartered accountant because although I'm not a chartered accountant, right, and I don't have the degree, and in fact I have so much respect for chartered accountants that I didn't even dare to pursue chartered accountancy because of the kind of hard work that it would involve. So no, but really, I have a lot of love and respect for chartered accountants. I have a lot of love because my father and my sister both are chartered accountants. So people who I've loved most in the world are chartered accountants, and I don't have any other choice but to love them. And I have a lot of respect for chartered accountants because I believe the chartered accountants are some of the most studious, some of the most intelligent and hardworking people in the country. And I don't just say it, I mean it from the bottom of my heart, having seen from, having grown up with chartered accountants in my family, I just have immense respect for this profession. I'm just so honored to be here on this platform to address and get my message across to you chartered accountants. So who am I, right? I am, I'm the guy who gets people to change, and I'm the guy who gets people to change fast, right? So I get the call when this, I get the call when this lady calls me up at 10 o'clock in the night and she says, my husband has suffered a serious car accident and he's in a severe coma. Can you help? Can you do something? And when I started working with this person, I didn't just work with the man in coma, I worked on the wife first, on her beliefs and behaviors around the husband. And then I worked with the person in coma as well. And interestingly, within the next 2 weeks, the gentleman had opened his eyes from coma. And the doctors were shocked. Doctors were blown away with his progress because they weren't expecting him to come out of coma anytime soon. And within another 2 weeks, when I met him again, I worked on the tubes that he was using to ingest food. And within the next 1 month, the doctor said his body doesn't require tubes at all. So roughly 2 months ke andar, I got him to a point where, from a point where he was completely non-functional in a coma to within 2 months, jahan pe he was playing with this child and he was active on Facebook and WhatsApp, leading a pretty normal life. And within another 6 months, he also got back his job. And so I have a speciality. There is certain patterns that I understand about human behavior, about human psychology, I'm obsessed with understanding and asking myself why people think the way they do, How do they process information? How do they make decisions? How do you get people to change within minutes? A person has grown up with a particular set of conditioning, a particular set of beliefs, a particular set of mindsets, और वो सालों सालों की habits develop हुई होती हैं, right? Some of them empowers them and helps them grow. Some of them actually limits and cost them years of life, right? And what I'm good at is identifying which are the ones which are costing them years of life. And I am an expert at changing those patterns, not within years, not in decades, but within minutes for the rest of their life, and permanent and lasting change within minutes. So, one of the other interesting things that I did was I worked with dyslexic children. I worked with these children who supposedly couldn't spell. And I work with these children for dyslexic children are people who they've gone to a psychologist, and they have in the class, they are not able to spell. And as a result of that, they're not able to write as well. So so the psychologists call it a learning disability. मतलब जिस इंसान को dyslexia है, वो पढ़ नहीं सकता, वो spell नहीं कर सकता. So I work with children like that. One of the kids that I work with, his mom brought this child to me saying that he's for 8 years, we've been trying to get him to spell words. He's not been able to spell words. He's been put in a special class. Jahan pe he's treated differently. He's treated like a special child. And he's developed so many inferiority complexes. उसने beliefs develop कर लिए कि मैं शायद stupid ही हूं, या मुझे सीखना नहीं आता कुछ, right? And it was crippling. It was totally crippling his entire life. And it's interesting. I work with this child, and within one session, the same child who was not able to spell the most complex, who was not able to spell even simple words in English language, within less than 1 hour was able to spell the most complex words in English language. Words like encyclopedia, acknowledgement, entrepreneurship. In fact, I gave him a spelling test. I took my sister का chartered accountancy book. वो उस time पे CA final के exams दे रही थी. I picked up my sister's chartered accountancy books, and I asked him the spelling of the most complex words, and I taught him those spellings, and then I asked him the spelling. I gave him a test, and he got a 10 out of 10. And I sent that child to a spelling Olympiad 2 months later. And the same child who was not able to spell their entire life got an 80 percentile, which means he was spelling better than 80% of the students in the country. Right? So I'm also a core team member at this organization called Antonov and Harani. जहां पे we have created a very revolutionary technology, जिसको हम एक science कहते हैं, technology कहते हैं, and it's a technology we call excellence installations technology. And what we're good at is that we are able to, throughout the history of mankind, there has been a particular pace at which people have grown in their life. वो personally evolve. एक इंसान 7 से 10 साल में एक बार they experience a complete paradigm shift in their evolution. Like they look different, they sound different. आपने Facebook पे एक जो 10-year challenge बड़ा famous हुआ था, जिसमें people would put in their photo of themselves 10 साल पहले, and they put a photo of themselves 10 साल बाद. And they talk about, look how मैं 10 साल पहले ऐसा था और मैं 10 साल बाद ऐसा हूं. Look, I'm looking so different. I'm sounding so different. So people naturally evolve. People change once every 7 to 10 years. They look different. They sound different. They have a different level of exposure. They have a different level of roles and responsibilities. They're able to do and deliver a different set of roles and responsibilities at work, with their family. They have a different depth and level of maturity. Right? लेकिन हमारी organization Antonov and Harani में हमने ये टेक्नोलॉजी क्रिएट किया है, एक्सेलेंस इंस्टॉलेशंस टेक्नोलॉजी करके, दैट कैन इवॉल्व अ ह्यूमन बीइंग जो अदरवाइज उसको 7 से 10 साल लगते इवॉल्व करने में, टू इवॉल्व द ह्यूमन बीइंग जस्ट एज मच विद इन 1 to 2 years. मतलब इमेजिन करिए, हर 1 से 2 साल में एक इंसान इतना ग्रो कर रहा है, इतना तेजी से अपने करियर में, अपने हेल्थ में, अपने वेलबींग में, अपने सक्सेस में, अपने फाइनेंसेस में, जितना वो अदरवाइज 10 साल या 20 साल में ग्रो करता. राइट? सो इस टेक्नोलॉजी को, जिससे हम एक इंसान के अंदर ऐसे पर्सनल ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन लाते हैं मिनटों के अंदर, उसको हम कहते हैं एक्सीलेंस इंस्टॉलेशंस टेक्नोलॉजी. और मैं इसका फर्स्ट जनरेशन कंट्रीब्यूटर हूं इस टेक्नोलॉजी का. राइट? एंड आई वांट टू टॉक टू यू आज on the subject of the extraordinary professional, right? And देखिए, एक आईटी प्रोफेशन में आईटी प्रोफेशन में there is 2 types of people. एक होते हैं डेवलपर्स और प्रोग्रामर्स. जो मतलब जूनियर लेवल पे जो भी ज्वाइन करते हैं एक आईटी कंपनी, उनको कहते हैं डेवलपर्स एंड प्रोग्रामर्स. एंड दे आर टेक्निकली प्रिटी साउंड, राइट? वो कोड कर सकते हैं, वो नए सॉफ्टवेयर्स भी डेवलप कर सकते हैं. दे हैव दोज स्किल्स. दोज आर द वन काइंड ऑफ पीपल in the IT profession. The other kind of people, the people who are actually making 10 times the money or 20 times the money, who are making crores and traveling around the world. They are not actually software developers and programmers. They are actually IT consultants. उनकी स्पेशलिटी ये है कि they are able to understand a business in a lot of depth, and they're able to understand it to the point. They will know कि कौन सा automation, कौन सा software develop किया जाए that will increase the revenue and profitability and growth of the business multiple fold. Right? They're not developers and programmers, but their speciality is that they're able to get deep inside a business, recognize flaws in it. They have business acumen. They think like a business person, a business consultant, right? And likewise is the profession of chartered accountancy, in my opinion. In the field of chartered accountancy, जो मैंने देखा है, there are 2 kinds of CA professionals. One are who are doing regular work in practice, or who are working in a job. And the second type of CA professionals are the ones who are actually not even doing CA work, right? They're not even doing typical CA work. They're actually, they're either entrepreneurs or investors, or they are business solution providers, right? Their specialty is that they are financial consultants. They are able to, just like IT consultants, they're able to go deep inside a business, and they are able to figure out what changes in the business, in the process, in the financial organization of the company will allow the business to get to the next level of profitability, growth, and impact, right? So, and these are the guys who in the chartered accountancy profession who are actually making 10 times the money. They're making crores. Just like in the profession of IT consultants are making crores, while everybody is making 10 lakhs, 12 lakhs, 15 lakhs, 24 lakhs, have a very linear growth. The other category, which I call the extraordinary professional, are actually making 1 crore plus, 2 crore plus. And that is because they are business solution providers. और अपने काम में मैं हजारों professionals, I have the good privilege of working with people from all walks of life, right? And I worked with, the partner at Deloitte Consulting is a good friend of mine. There is the senior director of Capgemini, who's a good friend of mine. And I've seen these people do things very different from a regular professional. अब वो कोई भी field हो, not just chartered accountancy, it may be IT, it may be something else, but there is certain traits that make the extraordinary professional and top earners different from the rest of the crowd, from the remaining 99% of the people. And I want to discuss in this seminar what are those top traits, right? And ये understanding, हवा से नहीं आई है, ये understanding आई है live लोगों के साथ काम करके. These people come to us to grow fast in their lives, and we help them accelerate and grow within the next 1 or 2 or 3 years उनके करियर में, उनके हेल्थ में, उनके वेलबींग में, उनके सक्सेस में, जो उनको अदरवाइज 10 या 20 साल लगते. People also come to us to launch their legacies and start up. वो कुछ ऐसा करना चाहते हैं जो यूनिकली वो ही कर सकते हैं, right? And we help them. We help a lot of these people start up their own businesses and create unique businesses that are impacting the world. और of course, मैंने और भी कई सारी फील्ड्स में लोगों के साथ काम किया, और जो मैं अभी आपको नॉलेज देने वाला हूं, राइट, दिस इज नॉट आउट ऑफ माय ओन हेड, और दिस इज नॉट फ्रॉम हवा. दिस इज फ्रॉम रियल प्रैक्टिकल एक्सपीरियंस ऑफ इवॉल्विंग thousands of people from all walks of life, and not just people, businesses, families, schools. We work with schools. We work with to give you an example of this, we work with so many schools and turn them around in terms of their academic percentages, in terms of characters of children. We work with this government school in Mumbai where they gave us 100 of the most unruly children. And principal ने हमें बोला कि ये children इतने unruly हैं, इतने misbehaved हैं, मतलब वो सालों से अपने subjects fail कर रहे हैं. They lack drive, they lack focus अपनी जिंदगी में. Most of them belong to underprivileged backgrounds, and we work with these children just for 2 days, and within 6 months we got a call from and in those 2 days, by the way, we helped them overcome specific limitations, कुछ जो उनके थिंकिंग में और उनके इमोशंस में जो गैप्स थे. तो एक बच्चे ने मुझे आके बोला कि सर, मैं जब मराठी क्लास में बैठता हूं तो मुझे एंग्री फील होता है. अब उसको क्यों एंग्री फील होता है, आई डोंट नो, बट दैट इज अ पैटर्न दैट इज क्रिपलिंग हिज लर्निंग ऑफ मराठी. एक बच्चे ने, जो मेरे मेंटर हैं एंटनो सोलार जॉन, जो ये सेशन जिन्होंने जो हेड कर रहे थे, एक बच्चे ने उनको आके बोला, सर जब मैं अपनी किताब खोलता हूं तो मुझे फुटबॉल दिखाई देती है. अब उस बच्चे को क्यों फुटबॉल दिखाई देती है मेरे को नहीं पता, बट इट इज अ पैटर्न दैट इज क्रिपलिंग दैट चाइल्ड्स लर्निंग. आपके और मेरे लिए बहुत फनी हो सकता है कि अपने बुक में किसी को फुटबॉल कैसे दिखाई दे रही है, बट फॉर दैट चाइल्ड इट्स अ जेन्युइन लिमिटेशन, इट्स अ जेन्युइन प्रॉब्लम, it's a genuine pattern that comes in the way of the child's learning and focus. And I was able to help these children, and our team was able to help these children fix these patterns within minutes. 2 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes के अंदर we break that pattern and create a new habit. That's our specialty. We're able to create new habits within minutes. And second day, we also work with them. We have them reprogram their neurologies to get into very powerful high performance states on demand. और अगले 6 महीने के बाद we got a call from the principal saying कि 65 साल की हिस्ट्री में स्कूल की, for the first time, the children have actually got 100% pass percentage. और ऐसा कभी नहीं हुआ था स्कूल की हिस्ट्री में. एंड सो हमने स्कूल्स को ऐसे इस लेवल पे, इस डेप्थ में हमने काम किया और ट्रांसफॉर्म किया है, राइट. एंड we've helped people overcome paralysis. We've helped them recover movements by working with their psychological neurological processes. We've helped couples who couldn't conceive for years despite of several miscarriages and IVFs, and we've helped them conceive within 3 to 6 months with over 85% of success rate. Whereas IVF, जो एक $1 billion industry है to help people exclusively conceive, they only have a 25% success rate, right? So there is, जो हमने सालों से, I've met so many people from all walks of life, और हजारों, I've spent tens of thousands of hours spending, studying the fields of psychology, neurology, business, human behavior, and a variety of different subjects. And जो मैं आपसे share करने वाला हूं about the extraordinary professional, about what those extraordinary chartered accountants do differently, the top earners, ये practical experience से मैं आपको बोल रहा हूं, right? Of helping thousands of people actually make a leap from being ordinary, from like a six-figure income to a seven-figure or even an eight-figure income, right? So let's get started. I want to share on this meeting with you, in this seminar with you, the top 4 traits of the extraordinary professional. And now let me give you a quick disclaimer. To develop each, ये traits इतनी गहरी हैं that it might take you, 10, it has taken these extraordinary professionals 10 to 20 years to build these skills. 10 से 20 साल लगते हैं, क्योंकि it takes time to develop these traits, it takes time to develop these capabilities. और मैं आपसे शेयर करूंगा कि ये ट्रेड्स क्या हैं, और मैं ये भी आपसे शेयर करूंगा कि कैसे आप होपफुली ये ट्रेड्स, अगर आप, मैं स्पेसिफिक असाइनमेंट्स आपको दूंगा that if you do, could help you compress that 10 to 20 year of time period of learning these traits into 4 years, 5 years, or 6 years, right? So that you can be the extraordinary professional. So let's get right into it. I'm going to share with you the 4 traits of the extraordinary professionals. The number one trait in my opinion, is sales, right? जो मैं top 1% chartered accountants की बात कर रहा हूं, who make 10 times, 20 times more money, they are extraordinary sales people. जैसे कि मैंने बोला, they are either entrepreneurs going out there and closing amazing deals, or they are salespeople brokering, multi-million dollar deals, right? And they're effectively salespeople. And I was having dinner with the partner of a Big Four firm a few months ago, and he was telling me, Puru, the difference between a partner level, a partner level and a senior director level in this Big Four consulting firm, the difference between the top 2 levels, it might seem like bas ek position ka difference, right? But the difference between that is, the difference between a senior partner and partner is the quality and quantity of clients, of business that they bring in. And he said, Puru, 90% of the senior directors will never become partners. Well, 90% of the directors will never become a senior director. 90% of the senior directors won't become a partner because they have certain limitations in closing deals. They're not able to bring the quality and league and quantity of the clients that the partner is able to bring in and keep. And that's how critical sales become. Now, you can, आप एक corporate में अगर काम कर रहे हैं तो you can just grow linearly. मतलब आप basically managerial position से jump करके team leads positions पे senior manager बन के over another 10-15 years you'll get to a director, senior director level position where you can begin to learn to close deals and sales, or you can start preparing right now. 10 से 15 साल क्यों वेट करना है? शुभ काम में देरी कैसी? Start developing this trait of sales, of being able to bring business now, so that in another 4-5 years you get there, not in another 15 to 20 years to get there. Now, sales is one of the things that I learned very early onwards. जब मैं मुझे याद है जब मैं 20 साल का था, I was just in college, and जब ये organization जिसमें मैं अभी एक co-team member हूँ, जब मैंने पहले join की थी, I just joined in I was just an intern practically, for all practical purposes. And I went to the CEO of the company and I said that hire me to do sales. I will do it for free for you. I don't need any money. I'm here purely for the learning of sales. If you can just teach me sales, I'll be so grateful. तो मैंने सेल्स सीखना स्टार्ट किया. मैं उस टाइम पे एक 6,000 रुपए का प्रोडक्ट बेचता था, एंड आई वुड कॉल अप पीपल, राइट, एंड कन्विंस देम टू बाय 6,000 रुपीज प्रोडक्ट, राइट. वो दिन है 6 साल पहले एंड आज का दिन है. टुडे आई क्लोज deals worth 12 lakh, right? So I convince somebody to invest in a 12 lakh membership within 160 to 90 minute call. And the very next day or the day after that, like within 1 or 2 days, the client pays. So think about this. Somebody is investing 12 lakh or, putting in the token money. They're committing to invest in a 12 lakh program, and they're making that decision within 1 day into our programs. And there is very few people who can do that in the world, who can convince you to invest 12 lakh rupees. This is B2C selling, not B2B selling. This is not commercial selling. This is, I'm selling directly to consumer. And there are very few people in the world जो 12 लाख रुपए का प्रोडक्ट एक कॉल के अंदर बेच सकते हैं. And fortunately, I can say I happen to be one of them, right? And I'm telling this not to impress you, but to actually impress upon you कि I've seen how much work and effort it has taken to develop the skills in selling and closing deals. And I cannot stress enough how it has changed my life, and it will change yours if you master the art of selling, of closing deals. Now, the way I think about sales, there is a lot of misconceptions that float around sales in our society. जब लोग sales के बारे में सोचते हैं तो वो सोचते हैं कि Wolf of Wall Street, right? किसी को मतलब किसी तंत्र मंत्र से स्लीजी तरीके से कन्विंस कर देना कुछ ऐसा बाय करने के लिए जो वो नहीं खरीदना चाहते, जो उनके लिए बुरा है, right? But that's the most rubbish view about sales I've ever heard. Right? Sales, in my opinion, is a very, very noble thing. Right? That's how I think about sales. The top people who change this world. I think we are living in a free nation today because of people who are extraordinary at closing deals. Right? जब मेरे मेंटर इसका एग्जांपल देते हैं कि जब गांधी जी जब हम इंडिपेंडेंस स्ट्रगल में थे, बहुत फ्रीडम फाइटर्स ने बहुत एफर्ट्स किए, अपनी जानें भी दी, बट गांधी जी, one of the interesting things that he did, which really accelerated India's independence, one of the things that Gandhi ji did is that he went to UK. वो ब्रिटेन में जाके he convinced the native people of Britain, he convinced the Britishers to protest. He appealed to their conscience, and he told them about all the wrong things that were happening in India to Indians. All the injustices were done, all the wrong taxes that were levied on the Indians, right? How Indians were actually practically looted. And he told an appeal to the conscience of the native Britishers in UK, and convinced them to the point that Britishers in Great Britain were actually protesting for the freedom of people in India. Now, I think of that as sales. I think of that as convincing. I think of that as the art of convincing people, right? And yeah. And on the other side, Subhash Chandra Bose, he was, there was Gandhi ji who was using the peaceful route for getting independence. Subhash Chandra Bose was traveling in different parts of the world. He went to Russia, he went to, Germany, he went to Japan, and he convinced them to lend soldiers, prisoners of war, to actually create the Indian National Army, right? He the German president at the time, Hitler, said that he's one of the most influential people he has met. Subhash Chandra Bose is one of the most influential people he had met. And I think of that as convincing. I think of that as closing deals. It's a very noble thing, right? And, if you don't close deals, if you don't sell somebody on your idea, if you don't sell somebody on an idea that's actually good for them, in my opinion, you are losing, right? They are losing. You are losing. They are also losing. And your company is also losing. Your cause is also losing, right? So it's a lose, 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 lose. And in my opinion, the only way to convert that lose, 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 lose into a win, 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 win is to go out there and close the deal, is to actually sell and convince and get people to make decisions that's good for them. And so I don't think of selling as a skill alone. Yes, it's an extraordinary skill. It's an extraordinary trait of the extraordinary professional. I think of sales as also a responsibility. It's a noble thing. You have to do it because to help the other person make decisions that are good for them. And there was a study which was done by an Ivy League university apne research mein, and according to that study, they tried to study which are the happiest professions in the world. दुनिया में सबसे खुश professions कौन से हैं? And the profession that was the number one profession, the happiest profession in the world, was actually sales. Salespeople are the happiest people in the world because they live long. They live longer. They have better relationships with their children. They have better marriages than the rest of the professions. They're happier. They know how to deal with rejection. They know how to deal with life. Right? So sales is in my opinion, is the trait. And, if out of these 4 traits, if you only master sales in the next 5 years or in the next 10 years, in my opinion, you'll be the top 1% of professionals. And, there is a lot of, these days, internet, a lot of people come and say, ki, develop very good interpersonal skills, work on your communication skills. Communication skills एक बहुत बड़ा topic है internet पे आजकल, of how you could develop good communication skills. But to me, the litmus test of how good your communication skills are is not if you can just come and speak. It's not, it's not about how good you sound, or it's not about how fluent आपकी English है. The Prime Minister of this country speaks in Hindi, by the way, and he's known to be one of the most influential people in the planet. Right? It's not how well you know English. It's not about your fluency. It's not about all of those things. In my opinion, can you, like, the measurement of how awesome your communication are or how bad your communication is, can you convince somebody to make a decision? And in my opinion, sales is the litmus test of that, right? Numbers, right? CAs are numbers people, right? So it's as if you can go out there and sell your product and make money from it. It's a clear indication of how good you are at sales. So I want you to stop thinking of convincing or communication as English or fluency or ASAP. Like, these are very, very, trust me, it doesn't matter so much, right? And it's about, can you convince people to invest in you, right? There is companies right now, एक बहुत popular, there is एक company है Zeptos करके. I heard that it closed funding worth $500 million. $500 million they invested. It's not a profit-making company. right? In fact, it didn't start making any money at all. And before all of that, like they just have an app practically, and they've closed funding worth $500 million. This is how money is flowing into the startup ecosystem in India today. And for people who can go out there and sell and convince, it's a very, very, very bright set of opportunities. So anyway, so here are some of the assignments on exercises I can recommend for you to develop extraordinary sales skills. And of course, this is not going to happen in a year. You're not going to become extraordinary at sales within 6 months or a year. This is going to take you a minimum of 3 to 4 years, if not 10 or 20 years, if you commit every week and every month to develop extraordinary sales skills. So here are some of the exercises that can help you get there much faster. 1, volunteer for a particular cause that you believe in. It could be anything. Like for me, it's the education of children that I am passionate about. I love children. I love supporting the education of underprivileged children, because in my opinion, you're changing a child's life, you're changing a child's future. What is the cause that you believe in? Whatever it is, उसमें एक NGO को ढूंढिए who is doing extraordinary work, right? Who's raising extraordinary funds as well to support whatever cause that you're contributing to. Go out there and volunteer to do sales, to go out there and, if required, door to door, convince people to invest in the cause, right? और हफ्ते में आपको ऐसा नहीं है कि you have to spend your entire, most of you are working professionals or you have your own practices. I respect that you're very busy people. Invest 2 to 3 hours every week on a Saturday evening. It's something that everybody can do. But it will give you the context and the environment to actually go out there and sell and close deals with people. You know, there was one fine day on a Saturday evening, I was just sitting in my house in Chennai, और एक घंटी बजती है, and I open the door, and this man very sweetly says, "Sir, hi, this is say Rajiv, and can I just come inside and talk to you for a minute?" And he sounded so nice, and there was so much honesty and truth in his voice that I actually let a stranger inside my house. And he came into my house, and we just got talking, and he said, "Sir, I'm from Cry Foundation, and I'm here because I want you to invest in this cause that we believe in supporting underprivileged children." Right? And that man spent 10 minutes with me, and he convinced me to take care of the education of a child for the next 1 year, or one child. Right? And I'm so glad that I made that decision. I'm so glad that I invested that money. No buyer's remorse, no feeling bad कि यार इसने मेरे को convince कर दिया है buy करने. But whatever he did was so nice. It was so from the heart. It was so honest, and it was so truthful that I happily took out my wallet and gave him the money, because I love that cause. And ever since that day, I've been contributing, privately to the education of underprivileged children. And I'm very proud that I'm doing that, right? So what's interesting is that guy was actually an IT professional working in an IT company, and on weekends he used to spend these 2-3 hour slots where he actually used to go door to door and used to convince people to invest in the education of underprivileged children. And he was such a good salesperson. He's such a good salesperson. Although he was an IT professional during the day, he invested this time in the evening to also learn sales. And I can assure you, this guy is going to grow very fast. In fact, I opened up my wallet, I gave him my card, and I said, "Look, contact me if you want to become a salesperson, if you want to become an extraordinary, if you want to grow in the sales profession in my company where I work." I offered him a job. practically. And you're such a good salesperson. I want you to become like that. I want you to become extraordinary at closing deals and spending your weekends, spending your extra hours in convincing people to invest in your cause, to me will build that sales skill for you. And there is an extraordinary book that I would highly recommend each of you read. It's called Secrets of Closing the Sale by Zig Ziglar. Zig Ziglar. I think I will I'll send across the link of that book to the moderator, and then along with the name and the author, and you could actually go out there on Amazon and order it. In my opinion, it's one of the best books written on sales ever. Zig Ziglar is a world record holder in selling cookwares. Right? Zig Ziglar, jo author hai, he's a world record holder in selling cookwares. Door to door, he went out there, convinced people to invest in cookwares, and he's one of the top salespeople in the world and stuff. And he's extraordinary at teaching sales as well. So go on Amazon and you could order that book. And even a better resource, I would say, to learn sales is my mentor, Antonio Solar John. He has this program. He does this program called Close the Deal Like a Pro. And it's an extraordinary course on how to go ahead and close deals, and not just close any deals, but close the deal. Look, we believe that pandemic or no pandemic, pre-pandemic, post-pandemic, during pandemic, doesn't matter. There are opportunities everywhere. There is an opportunity in your life that if you see and if you close that deal, that opportunity, it could be anything. It could be asking your boss for a raise. It could be convincing your child to love maths more and make him fall in love with the subject. It could be anything. But there is a deal in your life that if you see it and if you close it, your entire life will change. But you may not even be seeing that opportunity yet. And this is a program where we equip you to see that opportunity and to close that deal. We do excellence installations, personal transformations for you to actually go out there and close that deal with ease. And this program is done by my mentor himself, Antonio Solar John. I'll send across the link to that. You could actually go and invest in the masterclass if you like. So these are some of the things I would recommend you do to master sales. That's the number one trait of the extraordinary professional. Now, coming to the second trait of the extraordinary professional, the second trait of the extraordinary professional is that they are extraordinary at evolving people. They're extraordinary at creating leaders. They're extraordinary at developing and nurturing talent in people. All of these guys in these big corporates who are making, more than a crore plus, the company gives them that kind of money, whether it be Accenture, whether it be these big IT firms, Cognizant, blah blah blah. In these companies, anybody making more than a crore, the company gives them that kind of a money because they nurture talent. They are good at evolving people and creating new skills and capabilities in people, and very, very rapidly and fast. And that is the second capability trait of the extraordinary. I am a musician. I love music. I play the guitar, and I sing. And one of the persons I really admire in music is A.R. Rahman. And what is special about A.R. Rahman, in my opinion, is not only he's extraordinary at creating music, but he is extraordinary at evolving talent. He's extraordinary at handpicking some of the finest talent in music. He'll pick these raw, unpolished diamonds and he makes them extraordinary. He makes them so good, right? And almost every musician who has worked with Rahman, who I know and interact with, each one of those people have actually met me and said that they have the highest level of respect for A.R. Rahman because he has evolved them at some level. He has this brilliance of bringing out the best out of that talent, out of that person. And that's the other thing. We have a special respect for people who evolve us. We have a special love for people who mentor us, who teach us well, who develop new skills in us. And I think A.R. Rahman does that beautifully for musicians. Today, he's created schools in the country which are sprouting the best of talent in music in the country and around the world. And to me, that's one of the things that makes him a legend. Yes, it's not just that he's a fantastic musician or a music director. Yes, that is amazing. But what makes him a legend, in my opinion, in that industry, in that space, what makes him extraordinary is that he can get people to collaborate and bring out the best out of them and nurture them and make them leaders, make them extraordinary as well. In our organization, Antonu and Harini, we're very proud to say that people's market value doubles every year they work in our organization. Right? Every year, what the market offers to the people who work with us doubles. And not a lot of companies have evolved people like that. And in my opinion, one of the ways we have evolved talent so fast that everybody's market value is doubling every year is that with every person who comes into the organization, we do two things. One is we hire them only if we see extraordinary potential in them to become an entrepreneur, right? To think like a business person. We only hire people who have extreme amount of drive. Yes, talent is important. We look at that too, but look at people who have an extreme amount of drive, who have that kind of vision to be the entrepreneur in the company. So we're particular about hiring. And when we hire somebody, we make sure that we give them that at any given point in time, they are doing 3 different types of work. 3 अलग तरीके के projects और काम वो करते हैं. One type of projects that people work on is one type of work that we give them is the work that they're fully equipped to do. Matlab, they have all the resources, talent, skill to complete that work. They're fully equipped to deliver to that project, right? The second kind of work we give them is the project that they are almost equipped to do. Almost is key, right? But puri tarah equipped nahi hai. They are almost equipped, and doing these particular type of projects will push their capabilities just a bit, right? And it will make them grow. It will make them grow intellectually and stimulate them to grow to the next level. And तीसरे तरीके का जो हम काम देते हैं अपने लोगों को, that is work and projects that they are not at all equipped to do right now. मतलब वो senior level के projects हैं, but we give them this work because we want 6 महीने बाद they'll be equipped to do that project. 1 साल बाद they will be equipped to do that project. And उसके लिए जो भी exposure और education एक इंसान को चाहिए, we are giving that exposure and education now, not 6 months later when they are actually ready for it, right? So 3 types of work. If you're working in a company, if you have your own practice and you work with people and you're responsible for their growth and evolution, make sure you give them these 3 times, make sure that they're doing these 3 different kinds of projects and work together. One is the work that they are totally equipped to do. Second, the work that they are almost equipped to do, but not yet. It'll push their capabilities just a bit. And thirdly, the projects that they're not at all equipped to do, but will be equipped to do 6 months later a year later. That, my friend, is the key to training extraordinary talent in your organization, is to create leaders who will step up and take ownership of the vision of the company. Now let me give you a few quick tips on ways that you can learn to evolve people fast, right? To become a master at evolving people. Again, like every time, I'm going to give you the disclaimer कि ये 10 से 20 साल इस skill को लगते हैं develop करने में for people who are the extraordinary professionals. But with these exercises that I'm giving you, hopefully you'll get there within another 4, 5, 6 years if you really commit to doing these exercises. So one, work in a fast growing startup. Fast growing startups, in my opinion, create some of the finest talent and resources out there, right? And जब Silicon Valley, San Francisco, जो California में Silicon Valley एक term बहुत famous हुआ था 1970s में जब 1980s में जब ये बड़ी companies, tech companies वहां पे निकलना शुरू हुई थी. And Silicon Valley is this place where interestingly, they have some of the best talent trained and mentored in the area of tech. अगर आपने PayPal माफिया के बारे में सुना है, PayPal एक technically एक payment gateway company है, based out of Silicon Valley. And it's interesting, people who worked in that company, the core team of that company, went out जब PayPal बिक भी गया and they had exited from PayPal. These guys actually went out there and started their own businesses. And all of these founders of these large tech companies, including LinkedIn, including YouTube, Peter Thiel, Elon Musk, जो काफी famous हो रहे हैं आजकल इंटरनेट पे, these people actually worked in PayPal. They're all part of the PayPal mafia. So startups एक ऐसा environment है जहां पे they have very limited resources, they have a limited budget, and within that they have to produce humongous results they have to deliver to humongous projects, right? They have limited funds and they have to make money, and they have unbelievably short timelines, and they have to keep speed. And that means that they need speed in mentoring talent and evolving people, right, as well. So and what I also love about startups is that एक startup में, एक intimate startup में, एक छोटे startup में, छोटा but high growing, fast growing startup, एक अच्छा और fast growing startup में you will see very intimate teams, right? You can directly interact with CEOs, founders of the company. And the beautiful thing is that you can actually you can develop such a nice bond and a relationship with them as your mentor that they will actually teach you how to evolve people, how to get things done with people, how to be super effective, and thrive in the high stake startup environment, the high risk, high stake startup environment. So collaborate with the, if you can work in a startup and you can collaborate with founders and CEOs, if you can directly assist them, work closely with them, watch them, you will see that they are evolving people rapidly. And now, of course, not every most startups fail. I'm not talking about going around and joining every startup you can. I'm talking about investing your time, investing your talent in good startups. Go and get a job in a startup where you believe in the vision, where you have a lot of interest. You believe in the founders and CEOs. You're fascinated by the founders and CEOs, fascinated by the business model and how they make money. You're fascinated by the impact that they're creating on the society. And where you see people around you, people in the culture of that organization growing very, very rapidly as well, right? That, my friend, is one of the most important keys. अगर आप एक ऐसा startup ढूंढ पाओ, then you found you found something magical, जहां से आपकी growth बहुत तेजी से होने वाली है, बहुत तेजी से, right? And you can become the extraordinary professional. In my opinion, at the age of 26, I am very proud to say that I have done the things that I have done, right? Whether it be in impacting people, helping people, yes, helping people come out of coma and helping dyslexic children read. All of these are fantastic things that I've done. But one of the things that I'm proud about is how I have grown in this organization, in this startup that I'm a part of, called Antno and Harini. And here I'm one of the first gen contributors to the technology of excellence installations. So from being an intern, I grew to becoming the top performing salesperson in this organization within a year. To within another 1 year, I was learning advertising, marketing, digital advertising, Facebook, Google, customer communication, customer support, and I excelled, aced each one of these different aspects of doing business. And in my opinion, because I was able to learn so many things so fast and so rapidly, is the reason that I have developed some of these traits of the extraordinary professional at the age of 26 and not 45, not 55, right? And so I would really recommend finding a high growth startup that you truly believe in and are fascinated by, and commit your time to it. Secondly, I would recommend you to find great mentors, right? So great mentors who have extraordinary business acumen, great mentors who've actually gone out there and built businesses, successful businesses. They will teach you how to evolve people, right? And a lot of you are practicing chartered accountants. You deal with business owners day in and day out. You have the ecosystem, you have a circle, and some of the people I'm sure are people who have built successful businesses. Some of them I'm sure are people who are large business owners, and these people have built successful, profitable companies. And if you develop a relationship where they can mentor you, where you can learn how to evolve people, how to do business, in my opinion, you've just found a gold mine, right? And I'm sure, since a lot of you are practicing chartered accountants, I'm sure there are opportunities like that if you have the eye to see it and spot it and grab it and seize it. And the way I think about mentors, the way I select mentors in my own life, I have a particular set of questions I ask myself. 4 years ago, I began to learn the guitar. And I'm proud to say I'm learning the guitar from one of the finest guitarists in the country. Unka naam, chalo main naam nahi lunga, but he's an extraordinary guitarist who's played with Rahman, who plays with some of the topmost of music directors. And when I was choosing him as my mentor, when I approached him to teach me, मैंने अपने आप से 2 सवाल किए. पहला सवाल, how good is this person with the guitar themselves? What have they accomplished with their guitaring skills? Music industry में इनका क्या impact है अपने गिटार के साथ? So I asked myself, how good is this person themselves in the thing that I want to learn? And second question that I asked myself is, who have they taught? Who has this person taught? Who are this person's students, and what are they doing with the guitar in their own life, right? And I would watch these students' videos. I would try to analyze how good they are with the guitar, what their finesse is with the instrument, and ये दोनों criteria meet होते हैं, and I'm totally convinced that this person is world class and truly the next league at the guitar, and they have taught extraordinary musicians. They've taught people how to play the guitar really well. Then I make the decision to approach that person and ask that person to mentor me. But the good thing about mentors, the amazing thing about good mentors is that you can't buy them with money all the time. मतलब ऐसा नहीं है कि you can't just give them a heap of money because most of them are busy. They're truly the next league in their field. They don't have time. And they have to want to teach you. They have to love you as a human being. They have to see the raw, unpolished diamond in you. And but yeah, I would recommend go out there and ask, boldly ask, tell them about why you want to get mentored by them, what it means to you to have them as a mentor. And trust me, you do that with enough people and it'll click with some people. They would want to teach you and mentor you. One of the things that makes us happy as human beings is giving, sharing, contributing beyond ourselves. And I think that's what mentors love doing for their students. And I really encourage you to find a great mentor in business. Somebody who can teach you business acumen and somebody who can mentor you to evolve people at that level. So finally, so these are the top two traits. The third trait, in my opinion, of the extraordinary professional, drum rolls please. The third trait is, in my opinion, systemic thinking, is what I call systemic thinking. Systemic thinking एक काफी कॉम्प्लेक्स टर्म है, लेकिन इसका बड़ा एक सिंपल सा मतलब है, the ability to go out there and understand complex systems. The ability to for example, like business, मैंने आपसे business acumen के बारे में मैंने आपको ये बोला, the topmost of CS, top earners are they're able to understand and consult businesses really well. And एक business एक बड़ा complex system होता है, right? There are so many stakeholders. There are the founders. There are the suppliers. There's so many different stakeholders. It's a complex web of people, resources, processes, and एक बहुत complex system है. And इसको in depth में समझ लेना, accuracy के साथ, is what I call systemic thinking. और मैं आपको एक example देता हूँ systemic thinking क्या है और क्यों आपके लिए बेनिफिशियल है, और आपको क्यों डेवलप करनी चाहिए. नेल्सन मंडेला, जो प्रेसिडेंट रहे हैं साउथ अफ्रीका के, जब साउथ अफ्रीका को साउथ अफ्रीका gained freedom and President Mandela was put out of the prison. He came out of the prison and he took over the presidency of South Africa. There was a lot of turmoil going around in the country at that time, right? People were going around, blacks were killing whites, whites were killing blacks. There was racism, there was starvation, there was hunger in the country. And उस time पे जब President Mandela ने presidency ली, he, the first week, he came into the court where he was meeting his ministers. एंड सबसे पहली चीज जो प्रेसिडेंट मंडेला के बारे में जिस उन्होंने बोला कि ये सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट चीज है और इस पे हमें फोकस करना चाहिए, वो सबसे पहली चीज ही स्टार्टेड टॉकिंग अबाउट वाज रग्बी. रग्बी एक नेशनल स्पोर्ट था साउथ अफ्रीका, मतलब नेशनल स्पोर्ट है साउथ अफ्रीका का. एंड ही सेड वी शुड स्टार्ट फोकसिंग ऑन रग्बी. Now think about it. All the ministers in his court thought that Nelson Mandela has gone crazy. मतलब एक ऐसी country जिसमें इतना racial divide है, starvation है, hunger है, socio-political issues हैं, उसमें a man comes and starts talking about a sport in front of their ministers. And he thought he's gone crazy. But what's interesting, in my opinion, is that in 1995, when South Africa gained freedom, when South Africa won the World Rugby Championship in 1995, for the first time in the history of South Africa, blacks and whites came together and united. जो decades, सदियों से नहीं हो रहा था, that happened when South Africa won the National Rugby Championship. Now, I wonder, how did Nelson Mandela know 2 years ago that if I focus on rugby, if South Africa could win the championship, it would unite the blacks and the whites? मतलब एक इकोनॉमी ना एक बहुत कॉम्प्लेक्स स्ट्रक्चर होता है जहां पे इतने सारे स्टेक होल्डर्स होते हैं, हजारों लाखों लोग होते हैं, 100 तरीके की, there are different kinds of religions, there are different cultures, different languages, different kind of people. And he understood the depth of different cultures, different the economic position of the country, to the point he understood कि अगर मैं ये change लाऊंगा अपने देश में, it will change the trajectory of the entire nation. Right? And he actually was able to bring that about. Nelson Mandela is, in my opinion, one of the most legendary politicians in the history of mankind. And one of the reasons is his focus on rugby, in my opinion. Companies are very complex systems, right? मैंने आपको बोला कि the most successful chartered accountants एक business में घुस के उसको समझ के एक business solution provide कर पाते हैं that will change the trajectory of the business. लेकिन वो करना आसान नहीं है, my friend. It's a very complex system that you have to understand. And एक simple example मैं आपको देता हूँ कि companies कितनी complex होती हैं, right? Steve Jobs, जब उन्होंने Steve Jobs was fired out of the Apple board. अपनी ही company से he was fired out. And there was this person called John Scully, who was the CEO of Apple back then. And previously he was the CEO of Pepsi. तो उन्होंने Pepsi की job छोड़ के he became the CEO of Apple. And he was one of the people responsible for removing Steve Jobs from the board. उस time पे, when he took over as the CEO of the company, he brought his, Pepsi hardcore marketing or sales mindset to Apple. Right? Now, Apple was a very highly, tech-driven, R&D-driven company. They had created a culture over years of research and development. And when Steve Jobs was fired and John Scully took over, or marketing became the focus, sales and numbers became the focus, वो R&D की culture died. And companies' revenue and profits and growth also started to die down. And when the company was at the verge of bankruptcy, 3 CEOs change हो गए थे, the company was just going down the drain. That is the time Steve Jobs was called back on the board of Apple. And within the first 2 to 3 weeks, he just looked at the company. He ventured around the company workspace and campus. And he understood the culture. He understood कि क्या नए developments हुए हैं company में, नए products, नए लोग, नए teams, everything. And he was able to identify कि कौन से वो छोटे से छोटे changes हैं जो company में लाने हैं अभी के अभी, that will bring the company back, that will turn the company around and bring its revenue, profitability, and research and development culture back to life. And he was able to bring about these changes in the company, right? And he was able to drive the change down to the grassroots. Now, think about it. John Scully के लिए पेप्सी का जो मार्केटिंग माइंडसेट है बहुत सक्सेसफुल हुआ पेप्सी में, लेकिन वो सेम माइंडसेट जब वो एप्पल में लाए, इट वाज अ कंप्लीट डिजास्टर. Right? So it's because he understood the Pepsi ecosystem, he understood Pepsi system, and the unique set of rules that apply to it that is making that successful. But then when he's taking that to Apple, it's a complete disaster. And Steve Jobs, on the other hand, although everything about the company had shifted, the culture, the people, the products, everything about the company was different. When he came back, he identified what are the minimal adjustments, छोटे से छोटे changes that will bring about a big cultural revolutionary change in the company itself. And he was able to bring that change about. इसको मैं कहता हूं सिस्टमिक थिंकिंग. एक कंपनी के में घुस जाना और उसके यूनिक सेट ऑफ रूल्स. हर इंडस्ट्री यूनिक है, राइट? मेरे मेंटर ने मुझे ये सिखाया सबसे पहले कि हर इंडस्ट्री पूरी यूनिक है. हर इंडस्ट्री के अंदर जो हर तरीके का बिजनेस, एवरी टाइप ऑफ बिजनेस इज आल्सो यूनिक. इट हैज इट्स ओन सेट ऑफ रूल्स that makes it work, that makes it successful. And yeah, and there are, in my opinion, there is certain ways you can develop extraordinary business acumen, business intelligence, and systemic thinking. There are 2 assignments I'm going to give you right now. I think we also need to wrap up the session in another 5 to 10 minutes. So one exercise I need you to do is if you have the time, I want you to commit yourself to learning how to pick stocks for long-term investing, right? Pick stocks. I'm not talking about stock trading. I'm not talking about speculating कि आज ये stock ऊपर जाएगा नीचे जाएगा क्या. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about being able to understand a business, क्योंकि हर एक stock के पीछे एक company होती है, right? To be able to understand the company in its depth, to understand how the company makes money, to predict the future prospects of the business 5 years later, 10 years later. Business कहाँ पे होगा उसको predict कर पाना एक बहुत बड़ा skill है, my friend. Right? And so अगर आपने लॉन्ग और मतलब बहुत अच्छे इन्वेस्टमेंट क्लब्स आपको कई सारे अच्छे दिस कोलकाता वैल्यू हंटर्स क्लब करके एक, विच मैं उनकी कुछ वीडियोस देख रहा था एंड आई वाज अमेज्ड बाय हाउ गुड दे आर एट पिकिंग स्टॉक्स, राइट? एंड देयर इज, आई डोंट नो, एक नया क्लब है चेन्नई इन्वेस्टर्स क्लब करके. आई डोंट नो हाउ गुड और बैड दैट इज, बट देयर इज investment clubs जहां पे लोग talk about this, they talk about stocks, they talk about इस stock में invest करेंगे 10 से 20 साल के लिए, then you can have a massive return, right? And I want, if you can be fascinated with stocks and companies and understanding business models, if you can have that drive and fascination, in my opinion, you have set yourself on the path to developing extraordinary business acumen over a period of time. The second exercise that I want you to do is study the business models of your favorite companies. जो भी आपकी favorite company हो, right? उनको study करिए और उनको समझिए कि पैसा कैसे बनता है उन companies में. How do they make money, right? And in some companies it's very obvious. Companies like Google and Facebook, they make money by selling ads on their platform, period. It's as simple as that, right? And then there are companies like Amazon. Now you can look at Amazon, ऐसा लगता है कि रिटेल ई-कॉमर्स कंपनी है, लेकिन अगर आप डेप्थ में समझोगे ऑफ हाउ द कंपनी एक्चुअली मेक्स प्रॉफिट, रिटेल में उनके मार्जिन्स बहुत कम है, ऑलमोस्ट स्लिम टू नन, राइट? रिटेल में उनके, इनफैक्ट 2016 तक कंपनी प्रॉफिटेबल थी ही नहीं. 2017 आई थिंक और 16 द कंपनी वाज नॉट इवन प्रॉफिटेबल. रिटेल इज नॉट देयर बिजनेस. The way the company actually makes money is through what is called Amazon Web Services. That's how the company makes profit. In a company like McDonald's, it might, it could easily to an outsider look like the company is making hamburgers and selling it, and that's how they make money, that's how they make profit. But not really. McDonald's is actually a real estate company. They make money, they make profit by buying a piece of land and leasing it out to the franchisee. Right? And that's how they make money. That's how their business model works, right? So it might look like a fast food joint, but it's actually a real estate company. I want you to be able to notice these things. I want you to go into the depth of a business that you're fascinated by and really understand where the company is making the concept products hai, what is their margins, like understand the business model in depth, right? And the more you study companies and hopefully invest in them as well, you're going to develop extraordinary business intelligence, business acumen, which is going to make you the extraordinary professional. So anyway, so that's the third trait. of the extraordinary, but the final trait, the fourth and the final trait of the extraordinary professional, in my opinion, is self-knowledge. Self-knowledge, khud ko jana. Self-knowledge is actually about two things. One is, what is your purpose in life? Zindagi ka maqsad kya hai? And secondly is, what makes you happy? What makes you happy from the inside, right? And कुछ लोग बोलेंगे मेरे को, पैसे, I love money. Money makes me happy, right? And to me, that's like saying मुझे करोड़ों pieces of paper से प्यार है जिसपे गांधी जी की फोटो है, right? So people don't love money. People, I've met millionaires who are miserable, who are living miserable lives. You do not, my friend, want to be the richest man in the graveyard. You don't, right? I've seen ample number of people जिन्होंने बहुत पैसा कमाया, supposedly extraordinary बन गए अपनी field में, but who committed suicide at the end of it, right? So, and in my opinion, you need to have self-knowledge of what gives your life purpose. And देखिए, CAs, मैंने बहुत सारे CAs, I grew up with CAs, तो मेरे को एक चीज समझ आई कि जब कोई एक चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंसी स्टूडेंट CA कर रहा होता है, तो CA becomes the god. मतलब CA करनी है, CA is everything, CA हो जाए तो जिंदगी सेट हो जाए, everything will be on track. That's how these CA students think, right? और उसके बाद चलो बहुत मेहनत की, 6-7 साल काम, इंटर्नशिप कर ली, ये कर लिया, वो कर लिया, बहुत मेहनत की, CA फाइनल क्लियर हो गया, now I've got the chartered accountancy degree, and now फिर फोकस बन जाता है पैसा, right? Now I've worked so hard, let me just work in a company where I can get a decent salary, now I can get married, and life goes by like that. Like, and a lot of these people, in my opinion, a lot of there are, of course, there's CA profession that are very happy as well, right? So kudos to them. But I'm talking about a big sector of CA population which are actually feeling कि my purpose is, I don't have clarity कि मुझे अपनी जिंदगी में क्या करना है. They're looking back at the age of 35 at their 10, 15, 20 years of hard work, and they're thinking, what the hell have I done with my life, right? And if you don't have knowledge about it, if you don't know yourself, if you don't know your purpose, then finding your purpose should be your purpose, right? It's critical that you get that. Otherwise, you won't have the drive to be the extraordinary professional. In my opinion, the extraordinary professionals love what they do, right? They just enjoy what they do. And what's interesting is, जब मैं छोटा था तो मेरा एक singular ambition था, and my singular ambition, अजीत जी मुझे लिख रहे हैं, पुरु जी, others are waiting. Sure, Pradeep ji. I'm just getting done in another, just give me 5 minutes to conclude the session. I started also 15 minutes late, please.
No, it's all right. In fact, fortunately now I got a call that our vice chairman Nanda ji also about to join. He's waiting at airport and he's very keen to address the members, because it's a VCM today. We arrive after long time, so that's why I given him message. Sure,
Ajit ji. Just give me 4 to 5 minutes. I'm concluding this. Thank you so much. जब मैंने एक टाइम था मेरी अपनी लाइफ में जब मेरा एक सिंगुलर पर्पस था, और वो था मेरे को चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट बनना है, right? When I was 16 years ago, that was a singular purpose. It was to become like you guys. And I saw some very good chartered accountants. I saw how hard they work, and I admired those quality about them. इसीलिए शायद, और मैं देखता था CAs को कितनी respect मिलती है. There is money, there is a lot of things that I wanted. तो मेरा singular ambition था कि मेरे को CA बनना है. And जब फिर मेरी लाइफ में कुछ ऐसा हुआ that completely turned my life around. My mother passed away जब मैं 16 साल का था, right? And it shook me up. It shook me from inside. And it made me question the fragility of life. It made me ask myself कि अगर life इतनी छोटी और fragile है, तो what do I truly want to do with it? Like, what is my purpose in life? Right? And तो मैंने ढूंढना शुरू किया, मैंने गूगल पे टाइप किया how to find purpose in life, right? And I found these interesting motivational speakers जिन्होंने बहुत अच्छी बातें सुनाई to motivate me to find my purpose. एंड मैंने इनको देखा यार, मैंने देखा कि ये कितना अच्छा काम कर रहे हैं, तो लोगों की लाइफ बेनिफिट कर रहे हैं, मुझे इनकी तरह बनना है, दैट इज माय पर्पस इन लाइफ, मुझे मोटिवेशनल स्पीकर बनना है, दैट बिकेम माय सिंगुलर पर्पस. एंड देन फिर मुझे लगा, जब मैं 18 साल का हुआ तो मुझे लगा कि मैंने अभी अपनी मैं 17 साल का हो गया था, आई जस्ट कंप्लीटेड माय बोर्ड एग्जाम्स. एंड मुझे सोचा यार देखो, अगर मुझे सच में लोगों को हेल्प करना है तो मुझे मुझे समझना पड़ेगा कि लोग सोचते कैसे हैं. सो आई डिसाइडेड टू लर्न साइकोलॉजी इन कॉलेज. मुझे लगा ये मेरा पर्पस है, दुनिया का सबसे अच्छा साइकोलॉजिस्ट बनना इज माय पर्पस इन लाइफ. तो मैंने उसमें अपने 3 साल कमिट कर दिए टू डू माय ग्रेजुएशन. एंड धीरे धीरे जब मैं उन क्लासेस में बैठा तो मुझे ये समझ आने लगा कि यार ये साइकोलॉजी तो मुझे बड़ा सारे थियोरीज बता रहे हैं मेरे प्रोफेसर्स वगैरह, लेकिन ये मुझे कुछ प्रैक्टिकल सिखाई नहीं रहे कि मुझे अपने दोस्तों को कैसे हेल्प करना चाहिए. सो मैंने एक्सप्लोर करना शुरू किया, व्हाट आर सम ऑफ द फाइनेस्ट technologies, ways, methods, methodologies, modalities to actually transform people fast. I want to do something practical to help my friends and family today, not 5 years, 10 years from now. तो I came across neuro-linguistic programming, NLP करके एक फील्ड थी, नई फील्ड थी, जिसमें अगर मैं NLP skills अच्छी acquire करता तो I can actually help people change their behaviors in minutes. तो मैंने वो सीखना शुरू किया, मुझे लगा वो मेरा पर्पस है. फिर ढूंढते फिर मैं एंटन वन हरनी के पास आया, क्योंकि दे वर द फाइनेस्ट इन न्यूरो लिंग्विस्टिक प्रोग्रामिंग इन द वर्ल्ड. एंड आई कमिटेड माई सेल्फ टू लर्निंग न्यूरो लिंग्विस्टिक प्रोग्रामिंग टू हेल्प पीपल. मैंने उसके बाद मैंने कोमा से भी लोगों को निकाला. आई हेल्प पीपल ओवरकम चैलेंजेस लाइक डिसलेक्सिया, ADD. व्हाट आई हेल्प पीपल अचीव इम्पॉसिबल रिजल्ट्स एट द एज ऑफ 21. that the best psychologists or change agents in the world were not producing. लेकिन मैं 21 साल का था, I didn't even have a degree and I was able to produce such results, right? So the point I'm telling you about all of this is because I don't think purpose in life is a constant, right? Purpose of your life evolves as you evolve, as you change, as you develop, as you grow. Purpose in your life also evolves. It's so and in terms of finding your purpose, I'm just going to give you a quick exercise. I'm going to conclude this session in less than a minute. If you really want to find your purpose in life, you feel like you don't yet know your purpose and you want to find your purpose, do this. Study and immerse yourself in a subject of your interest, something that interests you, something that fascinates you. Study it and commit to it. Commit 2 months of your time, of your life, studying it. I mean, along with your job, along with your practice, along with whatever it is that you do, commit time to go through Udemy courses on the subject in that field. ऐसे लोगों से मिलिए जो उस फील्ड में काम करते हैं. उसके बारे में इंटरनेट पे पढ़िए, उस सब्जेक्ट पे बुक्स पढ़िए. वहां अगर आपके पास टाइम हो तो इंटर्नशिप्स में काम करिए. Whatever it is, gain as much exposure as possible to that field and explore a subject every 2 months. If you do that, then over the next 12 months, 24 months, you'll have explored so many different fields of your interest that you'll be able to zone in ki this is what I want to explore further. This is what I want to commit, not 2 months, but 2 years of my life. And when you commit to that, and when you commit yourself to become world class at it, you'll find yourself naturally drawn and driven to be an outlier at that, to become world class at that subject. And don't limit yourself to one subject. Your best friend in finding your purpose is your own curiosity, right? Steve Jobs wasn't just a businessman. He was actually an artist. आज जो अपने कंप्यूटर्स में आप जो फॉन्ट्स देखते हैं, it comes from his life experience, not in business, my friend, but his life experiences in Reed College, in typography, in calligraphy, जिसके उन्होंने courses किए. Einstein wasn't just a scientist, he was a violinist. There is notes and documentation of how soulful his violin was. Newton wasn't just a scientist, he was a sculpturist, right? So there may be diverse interests. For me, I love music. And I want to become world class. I want to be a music composer. And I commit myself. I have one of the best guitar teachers in the country right now teaching me guitar because and it supposedly has nothing to do with my business, but it makes me happy. And it is consistent with my purpose in life. So don't be afraid, be bold in going out there and learning things that are probably very different from each other, and commit yourself, my friend. And if you develop these 4 traits, if you become extraordinary at sales and closing deals and bringing in business, and if you develop extraordinary business acumen and systemic thinking, if you're able to understand businesses from ground zero up and figure out what changes will lead to what growth in business over a period of time, if you can master the art of evolving people, nurturing talent, growing human beings, and if you can do that with self-knowledge of your purpose in life and what makes you happy, you, my friend, will be the extraordinary professional. You'll be the top earners. You'll be making 10 to 20 times more money than the rest of the crowd. And that is the standard I hold for you. And that is what I want you to challenge yourself today and decide to be, right? And not settle for anything less than becoming the extraordinary professional. And if I did that, my purpose in spending these 1.5 hours is met. So I thank you from the bottom of my heart. I just love speaking here. And over to Ajit ji, over to Mr. Nanda. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Puruji. Now I would like to invite CS Nanda sir, Vice Chairman of CP Committee. And we are fortunate he has joined, after having busy schedule. In fact, sir was telling to me few minutes back. So initially I requested him, sir, to join, but he was in some meeting. So again, I requested, he called me and he told me that, of course I can join. I wanted to interact with the members. So Nanda sir, hearty welcomes to you for joining this VCM, sir, for addressing the members.
Thank you, Mr. Tiwari. It was very nice listening to Puru Verma ji, and I look patiently for the next session to start. I want to tell you that as the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, we are very keen and passionate to bring best of the topics for our membership. You are all aware that we do 2 programs every week. On Monday, it is Countering Monday Blues, and on Wednesday, it is Wednesday Wonders. So, ladies and gentlemen, I am very keen as the Vice Chairman, along with my Chairman, Madam Commissioner Soni, to ensure that we give the best and your technical skills are honed up to the highest level. I want to thank the entire board also, the committee also, for getting involved and giving the best of the services. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir, for taking out the time out of your busy schedule, sir. Thank you, sir, to hearing you at this stage, sir. Thank you, sir. Now we are proceeding with our next speaker, CA Praveer ji, for the next session. And before our proceeding, I would like to say thanks, and I would like to invite CA Sudhir ji, Chairman of the Bareilly branch, for giving formal vote of thanks to Puru ji. And before of that, sir, Sudhir ji.
Thanks, Ajit ji.
Sudhir ji, you might have received a question, that please ask the query from Puru ji.
Firstly, I have asked the queries what we have received from Puru ji. That since you mentioned about learned sales, can you please suggest how to do so exactly in CA professions?
So I think in CA professionals, I think for practicing chartered accountants, the opportunity is being able to close high quality premium clients for being their financial consultant. I think that's where the opportunity lies for the practicing chartered accountants. But again, that's where आपको वहां पे the stakes are very high, right? If you're not good at sales, then just going out there and asking for referrals to your existing clients is a very high stake activity, is a very high risk activity. You don't want to spoil your relationship with them, especially when you're learning sales, right? So I would recommend, like I said, for chartered accountants, I would recommend create a parallel environment outside of your profession where you can actually learn sales, right? So instead of अपने practice में trying and going and pitching to newer clients, first commit yourself. इसीलिए मैंने आपको बोला कि go and join an NGO and commit yourself to an activity that you can commit 2-3 hours to, something that you genuinely believe in, and you can commit 2-3 hours of your time every week. Given that you're practicing, given that you are working or practicing and you don't have a lot of time, 2 to 3 hours is something that you can take out. और जब एक time पे you will you'll cross that particular threshold of skill, जहाँ पे you feel confident in going out there and asking your existing clients for referrals. You will actually feel confident in going out there, meeting business owners and pitching your services for being their chartered accountant in whatever, or financial consultant or whatever it is. And at that time, you go out there and pitch. But in the meantime, I recommend create a parallel context, create a parallel environment where you go out there, you pitch. And I love cold calling, right? Door-to-door sales. It might look like, you might think कि पुरुजी मुझे कहाँ पे धक्का दे रहे हैं, but trust me, if you can sell out to strangers, if you can go out there and knock on people's doors, yes, ऐसे भी लोग होंगे जो आपके मुंह पे दरवाजा मारेंगे, but you'll find good people, especially when you have rapport skills, when you have the ability to connect, inspire, create emotions, stir them, get them to make decisions. You'll become so good at a particular point that the sky is the limit, my friend. If you can do door-to-door sales, which are so raw, which are so heated, and if you can do that extraordinarily, in my opinion, when you actually go out there, get qualified leads, create new relationships in your existing profession, ask for referrals for more higher quality, higher paying clients, that will be much easier. So yeah, so that is my recommendation for developing extraordinary sales skills for CAs. And everything, by the way, that I said in this seminar was for CAs, right? Including this. So that's my recommendation for you.
Thanks, Puruji, for your nice and wonderful deliberations. It's a very enlightening to. आज आपने सबसे पहले तो हम लोगों का भ्रम तोड़ा कि हम लोग समझते थे कि हमारा प्रोफेशन सबसे अच्छा है, but you have told that the sales profession is very good and very connective.
I think CAs are a very, very beautiful profession. It's a really nice and a noble profession. All I'm saying is, along with your financial acumen and financial knowledge, if you just add new layers to your skills, it'll allow you to become the extraordinary professional. I mean, the most extraordinary chartered accountants, like I said, are actually, they have built on top of their financial knowledge. They haven't stopped at financial knowledge, right? They're investors, they're entrepreneurs. Rakesh Junjunwala is a chartered accountant. And some of the finest stock market investors right now in the country are chartered accountants at the end of the day. So I'm just saying, add these new layers of capabilities. Don't stop at just this, and you'll be the extraordinary professional over a period of time.
Thanks, Puruji, very much. You have enlightened us so much for becoming a wonderful professionals and a dynamic professionals. That's so nice of you, and to the CPC committee. And I'm very much thankful to our Vice Chairman, Charanjit Singh Sidhu Nanda ji ka. He has joined these meetings, and enlightened us about his visions for CPC committee, and Mr. Ajit Nath ji, who has very well managing and moderating the sessions. And now I am hand over it mic to Ajit Nath ji to for further proceedings, sir.
Thank you, sir. So now I would like to thank you, Puruji, to you also, of course. Like you said, you have added, like after becoming a CA, okay, to be an extraordinary profession, they have to add some top of the things, top of the some new attributes are to required to be added in their mastery. So of course, rightly said by you. Thank you, Puruji. And now I would like to invite CA Praveen Dhandaria ji.
Yes, sir. Am I audible?
Yes. अजीत नाथ जी, आपकी वॉइस नहीं आ रही है. अजीत नाथ जी, आपकी वॉइस नहीं आ रही है. Ajit Nath ji, your voice is not audible. Get your voice.
Some net connection might be the problem.
Yes.
Am I audible now, sir?
Yes, yes.
Hello, am I audible now, sir?
Yes, sir.
Sorry, sir. I think there was some network connectivity issue at my end. So now I would like to welcome CA Praveen ji, and I would like to give brief introduction of his to the members. He is FCA, BCom, and has been a speaker on various forums on service tax and GST. He has contributed as speaker in various seminars conducted by ICAI, central committees, branches as well, like Ahmedabad, Baroda, Bhavnagar, Jamnagar, Ahmedabad, and other CA association as well. Apart from that, he has been a speaker in the various lectures organized by the Service Tax Department on Service Tax and GST. He is having specialized in Service Tax, GST, and handling all procedural assignment as well as judicial matter of various clients from nearly all the sectors. He has authored various articles for columns in newspapers having good circulation and written number of articles for Service Tax Today by Taxman. So of course we are fortunate. He has accepted our request to join today's VCM and agreed for taking the session today, which is going to be held on amendment to CIRP and liquidation regulation. Sorry, 1 second, sir. The session refund in GST. So Praveen ji, now I would like to welcome to you, and now I am handing over the dice to you. And sir, we have around 1,000 chartered accountants who have joined to the different platform, and they are watching to you, sir. So at the end of the session, they will be posing the queries, through chatbot, and we will be asking from you at last 15 minutes of the session of yours, sir. So thank you, sir, and welcome. Now, sir, session is yours, sir.
Thank you, sir. First of all, I'd like to thank Nandaji and entire team, Ajit ji, Sudhir ji, for allowing me to present my views on GST. And before proceeding ahead, this is a beautiful platform, but hope now this pandemic would be over soon and we would be physically viewing each other to have more interactive sessions. Virtual sessions, and large number of people can gather at one platform, but interactions could not be there. So I wish we could see in person within very short time. Today's topic was a very interesting topic for me, which has been selected. It's a refunds in GST. Is my screen visible?
Yes, sir, it's visible.
Is the presentation visible?
Yes.
Yes, sir, visible, sir.
I was
Please.
hearing to Puruji and very nice things he talked about. One question came: how can we increase our profession? Indirectly, I am not connecting it to the sales. To which I would like to answer. We are into practice since over more than 17, 18 years now. Hardcore GST, earlier service tax excise, was the core area of our expertise. Since last more than 15 years we are practicing. And to answer the query which was asked to Puruji is, you should focus on main law. Directly jumping to the reference books or directly jumping to the case laws would not give you edge over others. So if you want to practice, if you want to really grow, business is not a problem. You can have n number of clients if your groundwork facts are clear in the case. So this is a very interesting topic, one of the topics of GST, that is refunds. Before going ahead, I would like to just enlighten you what are the things which we are going to cover. I in person basically focused on law first, its relevant provisions, what are available clarifications, and judgments and reference books we regularly use as an catalyst to our main activity. So if you have a hardcore grip on the subject, on the law, then I think it would be very easy to grow your profession, because first and the foremost thing which we people need to present before authorities is the law. कोई भी हमको यही पूछता है कि भाई साहब हम आपकी सब बात से एग्री हैं. You are right. You show us the provision where we can help you. This is the first and the foremost thing which is coming out at every level of argument. Right में tribunal, high court, supreme court, adjudications, preventive, DGGI, anywhere. So I urge these professional brothers to basically focus on law first, draw your own conclusions, then those conclusions or those understandings can be supported by various judgments. Remember, friends, if you rely on judgments or if you rely on any of the books directly without understanding the law, may lead you in a trouble, because there are always situations where contrary judgments are available which are in favor of revenue. Many speakers have different views which they have presented in their various books. So first focus on law, and that the same thing I have tried while presenting this small topic of refund. Can I ask Sudhir sir, what time do I have to conclude this?
Sir, you have to take your own time.
No, I cannot be.
Conclude
I cannot be. I'm just at the time of
till,
dinner, sir.
Conclude it till 7, sir.
7.
Yes, sir.
Fair enough. I'll try to do the justice, sir. Thank you. Friends, I would like to, without wasting much time, I would like to directly jump onto the topic and deliberate what understanding we have developed over the period of time. Today, I am just going to take you an overview, because 1 hour is a very short time to cover this topic of refund, because refund in itself is a topic for 2 days. There are many different interpretations, different judgments, different logics drawn, number of circulars have come out. But I would like to focus on law first, what the law says. relevant rules. We will going to be having an overview of notification circulars, few citations, and 3-4 case studies I have developed. If time permits, we can handle question answers. So this section 54 is a core section where this refund arises. This if you want to have a refund in GST, you cannot go any other way around. You have to go through the route of section 54. Now, there are in first section line itself, it says 54(1), that is, any other person can claim the refund of tax or interest or any other amount paid by him. Friends, here I would like to pause for a minute. I would like to make you understand, as per section 16, where they starts with the registered person, that is not the thing in section 54. Thereby meaning any person, may it be registered, may it not be registered, can apply for refund, not of tax or any other amount also. So I have just abstracted the relevant things out of section 54. First, I would like to draw your attention towards the word any person. Any person means that includes living, non-living, judicial, non-judicial, registered, unregistered, anybody. So any person can claim a refund. There are, of course, conditions attached to it, unjust enrichments, burden of duty, you have to prove, lot many things we are going to discuss in today's deliberation. So first focus on the word any person. It is not starting with the word registered person. Now coming to the next provision, section 54(3). 54(3) allows you the refund to basically two type of people. One is a person who is into exports of the business or making supplies to SEZ units. That is defined as zero rated supplies under section 16 of IGST Act. But refund have to be governed of even IGST, because proviso to section 16 drags you to section 54 to claim your refund. So two type of refunds are governed by 54(3), and you can see there is a reference of word registered person. Registered person there has to be there, because this refund is allowed to the person who's making taxable supplies. And another one is where inverted, you are falling into inverted rate structure, where inputs are higher than outputs. These two people have to be registered. So 54(3) is drawing attention on a specific two class of people. That is a person into a business of zero rated supplies, that is exports and supplies to SEZ. And another is who is falling under inverted rate structure. I would like to clarify to the members that inverted rate structure means procurement at higher rates and outward supply at lower rate. This is technically called as inverted rate structure. So these two people qualifies to get their refunds under section 54(3). Now, there are two provisos to section 54. One is if you have made and exports with payment of IGST, then you cannot go through the route of 54, as in that case, customs themselves provide direct refund to the exporters. So that thing have been catered here in the form of proviso. And if you have claimed a drawback of CGST, then also you are debarred from claiming refunds. So these are the primary sections, wherein in one case of Amit Cotton, Gujarat High Court have held where the petitioners have got the higher drawback, but they have returned it back to the customs. Then there is no bar on anybody to go for a refund under section 54. Now there is another provision is section 54 subsection 6. You friends have to be very clear on these provisions, because these provisions will help you out in arguing the matters before the authorities to get the refunds. Now, section 6, subsection 6 to 54 says whenever the refund is filed, 90% of the same have to be sanctioned within the period of 7 days. 7 days condition is coming later on in the rules, but provisional refunds, 90% so claim, have to be sanctioned within the period of 7 days. We know none of the authorities are doing so, but 7 days starts from the date of acknowledgement. 15 days time. So practically 20 to 22 days within that period, provisionally, if they are not sanctioning the refund finally, then provisionally 90% have to be done. This has been provided by section, not by rules or circulars or notifications. So friends, this is very important provision which can help out to liquidate cash into the system, because working capital requirement would be there to any business of any of your clients. Now, this rule I was referring 91.2, which speaks that 7 days from the date of acknowledgement. So we have a support of this 7 days by rule 91.2 supported to section subsection 6 to 54. In this case, Jian International, this is very good judgment, wherein acknowledgement was not given within the period of 15 days. So, Honorable Court have held that beyond 15 days, you cannot raise any deficiency memos. That does not debar them from issuance of show cause notice. Still, if they have a doubt on a refund or a quantification of the refund, they can go through the route of show cause notice by issuing RFD 08. So the point is, after the period of 15 days, the acknowledgement is deemed to be received. However, portal is not that active that it is issuing auto-generated acknowledgements. But we have been facing number of cases, few of the cases here, wherein department have issued deficiency memos even beyond the period of 2 months, to which we made the submission of the sections and the rules. They have accepted their mistake, and after quoting Jian International, the people are making, department is doing the job in real manner. Now we can also understand the voluminous transactions people carry out day in, day out. It may not be practically possible for the department to do the task within the specified period of time, but within reasonable period of the time, if we approach with the correct facts and the figures and the law, then refund cannot be denied or acknowledgement cannot be denied within the period of 15 days. But friends, you can note, if 15 days have been lapsed, then a department cannot issue a deficiency memo. They have a route through issuance of show cause notice only. Friends, here I would like to pause for a minute. Law says that refund have to be applied within the period of 2 years from relevant date, right? Now, in one of our case, we relied upon few judgments, which were of definitely erstwhile provisions, and we have been denied the benefit of this particular provision. Now, I would like to bring to your attention that GST, may it be called GST, but it is 90% same as excise and service tax. So for us, there is no difference. Moreover, to get refund, erstwhile provision 11B was a principal section under which all refunds were governed. And when you compare 11B with section 54 explanation 2, the definition of relevant date is exactly the same, mirror. There is not even a difference of a smallest comma or a full stop. Thereby, I want to draw your attention that all the judiciary discipline judgments, all the citations which were erstwhile available under earlier provisions of the law would definitely be equally applicable to the present regime. You cannot, department cannot deny by saying we have one order, thereby saying that the citation quoted by you are of earlier regime, have nothing to do with GST. So we draw the attention of Honorable Commissioner Appeals, stating thereby, sir, you can make a similar comparison of the two provisions, whereby all the provisions of 11B are identical, mirror to 54 explanation 2. Hence, there is no difference in the provisions or the definition of relevant date. Hence, the decisions which were earlier quoted are equally applicable to the present regime. Friends, during the conversation, we come across number of issues, number of things which I am just sharing with you to help you out. This is explanation 2, wherein there is one small change under refund of unutilized ITC. Earlier, it was from 2 years from the end of financial year. Please note that has been amended. That has been amended to include from the due date of furnishing return, thereby meaning if your due date of furnishing return, say for April 2020, is 20th May, return they consider under section 39. So I am taking 39 for 3B, which has been held by Gujarat High Court that it is a return. So I am not arguing or taking you to another route of discussion. So from 20th April, May 2020, you have to count period of 2 years for the purpose of limitation. And all other definitions are very similar to the present availment. Now, interestingly, there is a Supreme Court intervention, suo moto order. Everybody must be aware of that. That exclude from the period of limitation of 2 years, which is falling under between 15/3/2020 till the latest order of Honorable Supreme Court up to 28th February 2022. So this top date 28th February 2022, starting from 15th March 2020, any of your deadline of, I'll just take you for 1 minute, petition, application includes refund application, which is held by Bombay High Court, CIRC Supply Chain Consulting. You can see the citation just below that. Application, suits, appeals or any other proceedings. The due date or limitation date is getting over between 15th March to 28th February 2022, that is next month, then that limitation period is being excluded for the purpose of calculating 2 years for the purpose of limitation to file an application. Hence, we have been visited by a new client whose refund application was due to be fallen under this, and that was running in 7-digit figure. We filed a refund application, department outrightly issued a deficiency memo of time bar. So there may be a situation or a possibility that department does not know about this judgment of suo moto, judgment from Honorable Apex Court. You are requested to take down the judgment, show it to the authorities, and it is nowhere they are going to deny. It is open-handedly accepted, and Honorable Supreme Court is so much impressed with this type of COVID situations that they feel that yes, there is practical difficulties. Even number of courts are working online. Chartered accountants are working online. In Delhi, I don't know, somebody have given in a WhatsApp that chartered accountants have been included in essential services. So if they are, if in general public is not allowed to work, we are excluded from opening up, closing down the offices so we can work. So this type of situation, you please take the benefit, dig out any number of cases you have or your clients have which were getting lapsed due to limitation period, Honorable Supreme Court is there for your rescue, and Bombay High Court is there for rescue in the purpose of refund, because there is one big professional body. In there we had a very deliberate discussions in relation to limitation order number 1. This is limitation order number 3 of Honorable Supreme Court, wherein it was concluded by highest professionals that this Supreme Court order cannot benefit refunds, in which I objected and number of other professionals objected, but it was concluded as such. But now Bombay High Court is in your rescue. Please take benefit of it. Any of clients' refunds is getting over just due to limitations and you cannot file, kindly proceed. Moving ahead. Friends, when you go through the judiciary, we have number of cases for claiming interest. Department is very keen in taking interest. Whenever you default in delay or whenever you delay in making tax payments, your interest rate is ranging of 15% to 36%, whatever notified, they are very keen to collect that. But when coming to other side of the case, giving refunds, they, in majority of cases, they don't pay interest. It is not good. It is not income tax, wherein interest is automatic. Here in the case, we have to ask for it. So, in earlier regime of service tax and excise, there were number of disputes reached up to apex court, wherein interest rates was not standardized. It was notified at the rate of 6% somewhere, but it was not standardized. So different courts have over the period of time granted different rate of interest ranging from 9, 6, 9, 12, 15 till even 18% to the SSE due to absence of any static provision in the law. That thing have been done away in GST. That thing have been clearly done away in GST, thereby meaning, as per my limited understanding and interpretation, now even courts won't be in your rest in matter of GST in particular, because they have defined from the date of application, in normal case, if your refund is not sanctioned within the period of 60 days, then your department is bound to pay you interest from 61st day till the date you get your refund. This is a provision. Now coming to the harsher provision, but there is a benefit of 3% of interest, wherein they have said if due to any decree of court, tribunal, or any order in favor of SSE out of which refund is arising, for that, friends, you first have to make application, and that application, if it is not sanctioned within the period of 60 days, then department is bound to pay you interest at the rate of 9% from the 61st day till your refund is sanctioned to your account. So these two things, these two provisions, I think have been catered in the law to do away with a lot of different judicial stands which have been taken in number of cases over a period of time. So friends, please note, now government is very clear, in regular case 6% and in any other case 9%. You will not get any other interest, even if, that is my limited view, even if you reach High Court, because High Court is also going to read this section and definitely is going to say like that Mr. Appellant, when law is sanctioning 9, under what authority can we go ahead? Unless you challenge constitutional validity of section 56 under article 14, then the matter is totally different. Unless otherwise, the interest rate is static 6 and 9. Now I shall just take you to the things of key takeaways from this section 54. Section 54 is a heart or say it is only section where you can apply for refund. Key takeaways are that they are duty bound. They are legally duty bound to sanction the refund within the period of 60 days. Means they cannot escape that route. There is a provision for exception that refund below 1,000, even if it is not advisable to file that refund. If refund is amounting to less than 1,000, then definitely it is not going to be entertained. Every refund, leaving exports of the goods and supply to SEZ, every refund have to cross the bar of doctrine of unjust enrichment. Unjust enrichment, it was earlier very difficult for me to understand, but I have simplified. Unjust मतलब गलत तरीके से, enrich अमीर होना. कोई भी रिफंड आपको गवर्नमेंट नहीं देगी जिसका ड्यूटी बर्डन आपके ऊपर नहीं था. मतलब the things which you have not the burden of duty which you have not borne, in that case refund will not be allowed to you. So please be aware that you have to prove to the authorities that you have borne the duty, burden of the duty, and in that case doctrine of unjust enrichment is clear, and hence you are eligible for refund. Now, attaching to this doctrine of unjust enrichment, we normally of our clients do, on the date of application of refund, it is always advisable to pass a book entry, thereby accounting receivable, GST refund receivable, or whatever nomenclature you are comfortable with, refund receivable under current assets. And you cannot clear that entry or a ledger till either your refund is rejected or it is sanctioned, in both the scenarios. Now, what happens to the case where your refund is rejected? If your refund is rejected, then government is duty bound, and if it is a refund of ITC, they are duty bound to recredit your ITC ledger, ITC credit ledger via mode of PMT 03. And in the provision, it has been mentioned clearly that they may ask you an undertaking that we are not going to appeal further. So in that case, you can square off this amount receivable apne ledger from your books, unless and until you receive or you fight through the judiciary mode. This account should not be squared off. Now, if the amount of refunded by check, credit note, yeah, this is herein I would like to take the case study of builder, wherein we have advised in number of cases. Now, under GST, there is a common understanding and common practice prevalent that if you book a flat or a unit under a construction scheme, if you book a unit and you pay, and later on you cancel that. So under section 34, there is a common understanding which we also carry, that you cannot issue a credit note in this case beyond the period of September following the year in which amount was paid. So there is a bar for issuing a credit note. So there are situations, number of situations, wherein it has been discussed and concluded that if the amount of duty, amount of advance which is being paid is within the period of 6 months from the end of financial year, we can advise builder to adjust the ITC, whatever is paid against his subsequent liability, and give us the certificate of earlier period, for earlier period that I have paid the duty to the government. So on that basis, investor can go in the department. As I have told you earlier, sorry friends, I was on the builder side. Yes. So as I told you earlier, builder cannot issue a credit note in this case. Investor have to apply for a refund. If investor goes and apply, I have earlier told you section 54(1) caters any person. He does not require a registered person. Now, there is a situation where if builder can prove that duty burden I have borne and I have refunded entire amount to the investors, in that case, it may be possible for government to sanction a refund to directly to the update to the builder. So this case of unjust enrichment where refund by check or credit note by a supplier is given to the recipient, that helps to test the time. And as far as our limited understanding is concerned, definitely builder can also file for a refund claim. And if not, yes, investors can definitely file. GSTN cannot debar you from filing a refund. There are ways and methods, procedures already prescribed on GST network. You can follow that. Moving ahead, there are two specific situations. One in case of textiles and another is in case of builders, wherein they are specifically debarred from claiming refunds. Earlier, there was a provision, there was a notification, and that notification was debarring textile industry from claiming refund. In 2017, lately, they have amended that notification and now refunds can be sought. However, there was a situation because yarn in textile is taxed at 18%, and most of the textile products are either at 5 or 12. So that is definitely going to be their inverted duty structure, and refunds are going to be there. But however, there was a notification 5/2017, and that is 22,080 CTR, which says and speak that all of your credit as on 31st July 2018 shall lapse. This is contrary to the provisions. No notification can restrict. This was challenged before Gujarat High Court in the case of Sabnam Petrofields, which is in favor of the appellant, that is SSE. Now the matter is already before Honorable Supreme Court, and to misfortune, Supreme Court have already stayed the operations of Gujarat High Court verdict. So now the situation is kept in abeyance. If any of your matters are there before any of the adjudicating authorities, they may be keen to adjudicate, either to reject, because when there is a stay of Gujarat High Court, then ultimately provisions of this will prevail, law. And law, they are very clear that they don't want to allow this refund of accumulated credit as on 31st July 2018. Hence, to best of understanding is under subsection 10 and 11, under such type of case, if Supreme Court comes in favor of SSE, that is by upholding the Gujarat High Court judgment, then all your accumulated credit will directly be becoming eligible for the refund. But if Supreme Court debars or reverses the judgment of Gujarat High Court in Sabnam Petrofields, then there could be a dicey situation. So department is abstaining themselves from sanctioning such refunds. Herein, if SS is sure, SS is confident that no matter what Supreme Court outcome would be, definitely it is going to be in the favor of SSE. You can pursue department to go ahead and decide the matter, unless in few of our cases we have taken a stand to keep the matter in abeyance, which friends they cannot. So under subsection 11, we have given them undertaking that sir, you keep the matter in abeyance as you are directed to do it under subsection 10, but under subsection 11 we will not claim interest. So there is subsection 11 which caters these situations, which says that if refund is due to decree of court, department is duty bound to pay you interest. So definitely they are going to save their scheme from duty payment of interest, because this is not income tax, as interest is also coming from CPC. There are very harsh internal circulars wherein officers are personally held accountable for not deciding the matters. So there is one exit route in case of the subnorm petrophils, that is your duty getting lapsed as on 31st July 18, that you give an undertaking to adjudicating or judicial authorities that, sir, in case refunds are due, that is Supreme Court is in our favor, they appeal the Gujarat High Court judgment, then we will not demand interest from you. That is the only rescue you have. Otherwise, definitely, because tribunal have been not formed, and if adjudicating authority decide the matters, only rescue is High Court. And we friends, everybody know the litigation before High Courts is not easy and not cheap. So it is advisable to keep such matters in abeyance by giving a simple undertaking of not demanding interest. Now, friends, some more questions. Builder, I have already told, section notification 15 2017 CTR is restricting all the builders, contractors to claim refund. So builders and builders are not eligible to claim this. Now, friends, these are the statutory provisions. Statutory provisions have to be made operational. To make them operational, we have to go through number of rules. So for refund, they have rule number 89 till 97 capital A. So these all rules take care for all procedures, how the systems will run, how network would be approached, how the refunds to be filed, what are the procedures, everything is defined under these rules. So out of the rules, I'll take down you to the main hardcore areas where it needs an enlightenment only. I am not reading through entire rules and entire things. So rule 89 states and defines how the application for refunds for tax, interest, penalty, fee, etc. to be done. Under that third provision, refund is allowed even to deemed exports. Deemed exporter. Who is a deemed exporter? Deemed exporter has been defined under section 147. So white notification 48, they have defined that who is a deemed exporter. Basically, EUU and person who is having a benefit of advance authorization. These are the two main people out of four. If you make the supplies to this, they are called deemed exporters. So in both the cases, refund is eligible. There are conditions that recipient of deemed exports can directly apply for a refund for the duty whatever being charged to him. And in case of supplier claiming a refund, he has to take undertaking from buyer, deemed exporter himself, that I have not claimed ITC and I have not filed the refund. Under those two scenarios, 89 rule provides for the provisions of the refund, the procedures for the refund. Friends, moving ahead, there is one myth that every refund has to be accompanied by a chartered accountant certificate, right? So many of the friends, our friends may not like it, but this is the real harsh fact that under rule 89(2), L, small l and M, they defines, this rule defines in which case a chartered accountant certificate should be accompanied along with the refund claim. First, there is no requirement of a chartered accountant certificate if your refund value is less than 2 lakhs. Second, only and only in the case of burden of duty is not passed on by the claimant of the refund to any other person, in that case only chartered accountant certificate is required. That is been defined under rule section 54(8)(e). Incidence of duty is not passed on, that is borne by the claimant of the refund. However, section 54(8)(a), B, C, D and F under refunds filed for under these 5 provisions is being very well cleared under Rule 89 2L, that there is no need for a chartered accountant certificate to be accompanied along with the refund claim. So friends, I know I also have come across, and in many of the cases we have been forced to provide the refund, this chartered accountant certificate. But we have to make the authorities understand that CA certificate is required only to prove the incidence of duties borne by the claimant of the refund. So friends, please note this rules are very important. Now there is one important provisions, wide notification they have inserted, which I doubt can stand to the taste of judiciary. They have restricted if in case the claimant of the refund is having both the businesses, domestic as well as zero rated, that is exports, either supply of goods outside the country or making supplies to SEZU. In both the scenarios under zero rated, the value cannot exceed 1.5 times of the DTA value rate. That is what. Now this is curtailing the refunds, because normally we have seen that item which may be sold for 100 rupees in India may be sold for $5 in US or outside India. So there cannot be a cap of 1.5 times of DTA. However, accepting all the refund applications wherein there is no DTA turnover, no domestic tariff area turnover, no local sale, in that case, department is accepting that you are not required to prove this value of 1.5 times of DTA. That is, we have already faced this type of situations. So I thought to bring this point before you is very important. 89(4)(a), 4(b), these both the sections are providing refunds to deemed exports and merchant exporters. Friends, in case of export, keep in mind there is a GATT agreement of UN wherein duties cannot be exported. So you have to prove the burden of duties borne by you. That's it. Refund is eligible by either of the modes. Now there is one problem. If you go for a refund of inverted rate structure, there are 3 types of credits coming in your books of accounts. One is through inputs, that is material purchase. Second is input services. And third is capital goods. Capital goods is otherwise debarred. It is not disputed even by any of the SSC before any court of law. However, Rule 89(5) have been amended to restrict the component of input services becoming eligible for refund, which have been challenged before 2 honorable high courts. One is Gujarat and one is Madras. And unfortunately, in case of VKC Foods, Honorable Supreme Court held the decision in favor of department. Now onwards, if this decision is not reviewed or not challenged before larger bench, which are very remote chance, very remote chance, position is now very clear. In case of inverted rate structure, refund shall be granted only of inputs. Input services cannot form part of your computation. Please note this. This is a landmark judgment which is being circulated in social media and WhatsApp groups across length and breadth of the country. Moving ahead, friends, there are very important points which have been put in under Rule 90, which has been titled as an acknowledgement, but contents may help us to large extent. काफी लोगों ने हमको बोला कि सर डेफिशिएंसी आ गया, आप क्या करें, 15 दिन में एक्नॉलेजमेंट नहीं किया, क्या करें? वो सारे सवालों का जवाब आपको रूल 90 में है. रूल 90 में कहा गया है कि आपको 15 दिन के अंदर जो भी रिफंड एप्लीकेशन आती है उसका एक्नॉलेजमेंट दे देना है. And Jian International takes care for Gujarat High Court, directly takes care for the situation where they cannot issue any deficiency memo beyond the period of 15 days. Now, in case of deficiency memo, we had a long debate, long argument and long debate with the authorities. सर मुझे आखिरी दिन 2 साल जब खत्म होने वाला था उसके एक दिन पहले पता चला कि मुझे ये रिफंड डालना है एंड दैट आई पंच द रिफंड, और जिस अथॉरिटी के पास रिफंड गया मेरी उसके साथ बनती नहीं है, या तो वो सुबह चाय नहीं पी के आया अच्छी, या XYZ कुछ भी कारण है और उसने डेफिशिएंसी मेमो इशू कर दिया, क्योंकि रूल 90 ही बोलता है कि एप्लीकेशन हैव टू बी डन अफ्रेश। मतलब अगर 2 साल के अंत में अगर मैं एप्लीकेशन करता हूं और डिपार्टमेंट को डेफिशिएंसी मेमो से अगर मेरा रिफंड रिजेक्ट कर दिया और ये लिख के भी रिजेक्ट कर दिया अगर कि भाई हमने चाय में चीनी कम थी, ठीक है, तो आपको डेफिशिएंसी इशू कर दी तो रूल बोलता है आपको एप्लीकेशन तो फ्रेश ही करनी पड़ेगी, जो ऑफ कोर्स है 2 साल के बाद हो गई। सो यू डिड नॉट हैव एनी रेस्क्यू। After a lot of deliberate representations and discussions, they have modified this rule 90, thereby excluding the period from application till deficiency from calculation of period of 2 years. This is a welcome move, क्योंकि ये होता था, ये नॉर्मली होता था, हम लोगों ने फेस किया है। हमारी रूल अमेंडमेंट होने के पहले की कुछ एप्लीकेशन आज भी कमिश्नर अपील के सामने पड़ी हुई। सो दिस इज अ वेलकम मूव that for any reason of deficiency is issued, one, they cannot issue another deficiency on same point, they have to go through the route of show cause notice. That is also very clear by circular 125. But in case you are required to make another application, then period of application, first application till the deficiency memo, that period is excluded फ्रॉम कैलकुलेशन ऑफ 2 years. सो आपको वो ध्यान रखना पड़ेगा कि कब आपका एक्नॉलेजमेंट आ रहा है, नहीं आ रहा है, डेफिशिएंसी इशू हो रहा है, नहीं हो रहा है. सो बेटर यू कीप प्रॉपर लाइजनिंग विद द डिपार्टमेंट एंड गेट द एक्नॉलेजमेंट इन टाइम. And if there is any query or deficiency which is received by you through email communication or through online portal mode, kindly file refund, another second refund application immediately. And you can definitely approach respective jurisdictional authorities, thereby saying, sir, my refund should not be routed through deficiency mode second time. If you have any queries, kindly issue us the show cause notice. We will reply to all of your queries. And friends, rule 91, which entitles SSE to claim, which I talked earlier, provisional assessment, to sanction the refund within the period of 7 days. But friends, it is from the date of acknowledgement, not from the date of application. Friends, this is another very important provisions, rule 96, which governs or defines the procedures for the refunds in case of exports. 96(4) empowers the respective judicial assistant or deputy commissioner to withhold your refund, of course with proper reasoning in writing. They can withhold their refund under 2 grounds. A, if department is of the view that there is any unsettled tax liability, they can withhold your refund and adjust. जो इनकम टैक्स में रिफंड सैंक्शन नहीं करके वो एडजस्ट कर लेते थे, और मैटर बॉम्बे हाईकोर्ट तक आई थिंक गया था, जिसके अंदर बॉम्बे हाईकोर्ट ने बहुत क्लियरली बोला अंडर इनकम टैक्स एक्ट 1961 दैट बॉस यू कैनॉट एडजस्ट दिस टाइप ऑफ थिंग्स. डिमांड आपको अलग से रिकवर करनी है, रिफंड तो आपको देना ही पड़ेगा. दैट थिंग हैव बीन टेकन केयर इन एडवांस इन GST बाय रूल 96(4). अगर आपका कोई भी डिमांड बाकी है और असिस्टेंट कमिश्नर की नॉलेज में है तो वो आपका रिफंड रोक सकता है, एक्सपोर्ट का भी. He can even write to custom authorities, even if he can write to judicial authorities to stop your refund, and you cannot do anything. Another, डिपार्टमेंट को अगर लगता है कि भाई मैं ये रिफंड सैंक्शन करूंगा और कोई मैटर लिटिगेशन में चल रही है और वो मैटर डिपार्टमेंट के फेवर में आने वाली है, ठीक है, द क्लेमेंट विल नॉट सक्सीड इन एनी गिवन सिचुएशन, उस केस में भी डिपार्टमेंट आपको रिफंड रोक सकता है. दिस आर द वेरी क्लियर व्यूज. बट अगर लिटिगेशन वाला पॉइंट है तो दे आर ड्यूटी बाउंड टू पे यू इंटरेस्ट इफ दे आर नॉट डिसाइडिंग मैटर इन आइदर ऑफ द फेवर्स. Another way of holding back your refund is if officer found out that you have violated custom provisions. अगर आपने customs का कोई भी provision violate किया है exports के केस में, उस scenario में your refund is going to definitely be asked to hold back. So these are the two situations under which refunds can be holded back. So just take note of these two provisions which are very important. Now friends, there is one very important amendment, rule 96. Rule 96 that has been amended from 9/10/18. इसके अंदर डायरेक्ट हाईकोर्ट के ऑर्डर्स हैं. उसके अंदर ये कहा गया है कि if you have claimed the benefit of drawback तो हम आपको रिफंड नहीं देंगे. उसके रिवर्स ऑर्डर्स हाईकोर्ट सुप्रीम कोर्ट के अवेलेबल हैं कि भाई ये प्रोविजन आपने 9/10/2018 से इंकॉर्पोरेट किया, इसके पहले के प्रोविजंस को आप नहीं रोक सकते. तो ये आप नोट करिएगा कि 9/10/18 के बाद एक्सपोर्ट के केस में अगर आपने 48, 40, 41 और 78 कस्टम्स के नोटिफिकेशन के तहत कुछ भी प्रोक्योरमेंट किया है तो उस केस के अंदर द रिफंड्स विल बी डिबार्ड फ्रॉम यू. नाउ फ्रेंड्स, देयर इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट प्रोविजन और रूल 96B. 96B says, and it confirms that earlier you may be aware that in case of export, earlier whenever I speak, I am representing excise and service tax law, and GST is a new law. Now, earlier in service tax and excise laws, in case of export of goods, the realization of export convertible foreign exchange currency was not a mandatory condition. However, in case of services, present and earlier situation is same. Your period of limitation of 2 years starts from FIRC, which you receive from a bank. Now, 96B have been introduced, which take cares for both goods and services. And it specifies and says and depict if export realizations are not received in convertible foreign exchange within the time permitted by law or extended time by RBI. In that scenario, SAC is duty bound to return that refund amount received to the respective authorities. However, I would like to put a caveat here that this is a self-assessment proceedings. Department will not vouch for you on this case. If you yourself have found that some export realizations in case of goods particularly, क्योंकि services के केस में तो it is through FIRC mode only. So goods के ऊपर भी इन लोगों ने self assessment check point डाला है. अगर आपको goods का export realization नहीं मिला, friends, please intimate your jurisdictional officer in advance. Return that refund. जब भी आपको वो realization मिलेगा, you are entitled to refund. You are entitled to get back that refund which you have returned earlier. So this 96B is very dangerous, which can be which can really disturb working capitals. 1 minute. So these are the two statutory areas of sections and rules I have taken care. Now these are the three important circulars, 125, 135 and 139, which in majority 125 is said to be a master circular which depicts and says lot many things. I would be highlighting only 4-5 things out of it. that in case deficiency memo is issued, then I have told you earlier also, Rule 90 take care for the same, that second application will be treated as fresh, but that limitation period के अंदर वो आपका period exclude कर देंगे. Now, in many of the refunds of cases, while we were in department, many professional comes and argues, department seeks an undertaking that we are not going to file an appeal against rejection of this order. अगर आपका आईटीसी का रिफंड रिजेक्ट होता है तो पीएमटी 03 से जो मैंने पहले बताया था, ये पैसा पूरा का पूरा आपके अकाउंट में आईटीसी क्रेडिट लेजर में वापस आ जाएगा, पर वो तभी इशू करेंगे जब आप उनको एक अंडरटेकिंग देंगे. सो दैट इज, दिस इज ऑल्सो अ रिक्वायरमेंट टू प्रोवाइड एन अंडरटेकिंग डिफाइंड बाय रूल्स एंड बाय सर्कुलर. 90% we are very clear. Now this is interesting issue. GSTN have mapped any SSE anywhere. ठीक है, आपका जुडिशनल ऑफिस कौन सा है वो आपको ढूंढने के लिए बहुत मेहनत करनी पड़ेगी. अभी जो नए रजिस्ट्रेशन हो रहे हैं उसमें दिक्कत नहीं है, लेकिन पुराने एसएससी के अंदर वी हैव फाउंड दैट अहमदाबाद एसएससी इज लिंक्ड टू बॉम्बे, बॉम्बे एसएससी इज लिंक्ड टू झारखंड. मतलब मेरा जुडिशनल ऑफिस पोर्टल में झारखंड दिखा है. सो दिस इज रॉन्ग मैपिंग ऑफ द सिस्टम विच they have to correct. Exercise is done, but that is not that fruitful. Given in that scenario, we are already facing one litigation in this matter, wherein our primary jurisdiction is with central government. Earlier it was with state government, and we filed the refund claim with the state government. We filed the refund claim, and my claim went into state government. अभी मेरे को एडजुडिकेशन में पूछा जा रहा है कि भाई साहब हम आपका क्लेम क्यों एडजुडिकेट. Your jurisdiction is center. You should go to center and ask for this refund. That point of time, I can show him that whosoever have started the adjudication have to complete it till the point of closure. So this point has been taken care into the system by issuance of circular. Now 135, under 135, they have issued basically to merge odd periods. Otherwise पहले क्या होता था कि हमको monthly. Now they have allowed the selection of period start date and end date, and we can file that. This is very important. Shall I continue? Okay.
Yes, sir, please.
Refund of ITC accumulated due to subsequent reduction in rate of outward supply. आपने आज प्रोक्योर किया, आपने 2 महीने पहले प्रोक्योर किया कोई चीज जो 18% की थी, which could not have been sold. That things are lying in your godown. Now suddenly there is a notification in rate, CGST rate or IGST rate, stating कि हम 12 का 18 का 12% कर. तो जब आप वो माल बेचोगे, at that time you will be taxed at 12%, right? So when you had procured, the rate was 18. If you could have sold at that point of time, you could have sold at the rate of 18. But now when there is a change in rate, the rate has been reduced to 12%. You are selling, so you cannot claim this structure as an inverted rate structure. This type of things are debarred to be called an inverted rate structure. So if the refund IT is getting accumulated on subsequent reduction of a rate, that will not be qualifying as an inverted rate structure, and refunds will not be allowed. There is a procedural requirement of mentioning HS and SSE that have to be done away with. Now this is important, but now redundant. 135 mentioning, because from 1st January 2022, ITC can be availed as per GST 2B only. I am not going into statutory part of it. Statutory part means 16(2)AA. I am not discussing. Whether it is valid, invalid, that is also I am not discussing. I am straight coming to whatever the things are available. Credit which is to be availed in layman language have to be availed as per 16(2)AA now. And in consonance of AA, 2, 3, 4. 2A में A, B, C, D, all 4 conditions have to be fulfilled. Then only you can go ahead. So now this part is very obsolete. Refunds have to be claimed for ITC which are available in 2B. 135. Okay, this is very logical. If you paid the duty through cash, you will get refund in cash. If you paid duty by debiting your ITC, you will get the refund in ITC. You cannot have vice versa. 139. Yeah, this is very important circular. Because we had faced few of the cases wherein 2A earlier, now 2B is not showing credit of the duty paid under imports, RCM, these 2 category mainly. Third is RCM that covers GTA. ये 2 category 2A में नहीं आती. So there was hue and cry, refunds were getting rejected. So they have come out with the circular that ये सब चीजें इसमें include नहीं है. मतलब 2B plus RCM and imports, उसका जो भी duty है that will qualify for ITC, and उसका जो भी eligible refund calculation है, you have to travel to that. Friends, I think circulars I am done with. Rules and regulations I have cleared. Some very important citations I'll just wrap up very fast now. I'll go through this. This is a case of Gujarat High Court Real Prince अपने Spintex, where court have allowed refund even in case of higher drawback is claimed. So these are all earlier provisions. Now after 2018 October, these things cannot be done. This is a case where place of supply in case of a passenger traveling out of India. So that will qualify to be called as an export और उसका refund मिलेगा. Now कैसे मिलेगा, कौन देगा, that things have not been yet notified, but मिलेगा. Court have held, you will get that. This we have discussed that all credit have to be routed, re-credit have to be routed through PMT03. Opportunity of being heard to be given on the basis of natural justice. I am very surprised and shocked the way state authorities are working, but they are happily accepting our representations that, sir, you cannot outrightly reject, you cannot debar me, outrightly you cannot issue rejection orders. You have to go through the principle of natural justice. Now people are coming into the system. So justice has been done. Opportunity of heard is being given in all the cases. But just note that people have even to reach to high courts for that. Now, this is a very nice case of Punjab Haryana High Court of Gawar Constructions. If you have paid duty wrongly, means duty is not payable, and if you have paid. Earlier, we used to take a stand that, sir, it is not a duty. ये deposit है, उसमें 11 भी लगेगा ही. Friends, please note, same situation would continue here in GST also, whereby we can definitely take a shelter if duty was not payable. If duty was not payable, then refund have to be sanctioned outside 54. But friends, this is very optimistic, very aggressive call. Please take it very cautiously. Otherwise, all refunds should be governed through 54 only, and accordingly the provisions or explanation to relevant date limitation period will be made applicable. This is Vedanta case of Kolkata Tribunal, wherein refunds or any other thing cannot be debarred on technical discrepancies. On procedural lapses, beneficial portion cannot be taken away from the appellant or applicant. This one case, friends, I can talk for 2 days together. Calcutta Club versus State of Bengal, in which not more than 46 or 45 parties were there. This judgment have settled the position of mutuality, concept of mutuality, in favor of the SSE up till 30 June 2017. Thereby meaning in GST, mutuality concept, these people have tried to defeat. This I am coming. I'll take another 5 minutes to wrap up, and we'll go through this. Now, Calcutta High Court have settled that the principle of mutuality exists, right? Hence, club and member, society and member, CA body, ICAI and their member, me, you people, cannot be two different. So there cannot be a levy of tax on oneself. This is a mutuality. मैं अपनी आपको सर्विस नहीं दे सकता, ठीक है? मैं अगर सुधीर जी का रिटर्न भरूंगा तो उस पे मैं टैक्स लगाऊंगा, लेकिन अगर मैं खुद का रिटर्न भरूंगा तो उस पे नहीं लगाऊंगा. क्यों? क्योंकि मैं खुद को सर्विस नहीं दे सकता. दिस इज म्यूचुअलिटी. म्यूचुअलिटी में ये डिसाइड हुआ कि क्लब्स के केस में मेंबर्स और क्लब, उसमें सोसाइटीज का भी जिक्र है. सोसाइटीज एंड देयर मेंबर्स, CA इंस्टीट्यूट एंड वी मेंबर्स, वी आर नॉट टू डिफरेंट पीपल, ठीक है? So mutuality exists and there cannot be tax. Now, I am a bit optimistic and I am on the other side of larger lobby, which says they have amended by inserting AA to section 7(1). ठीक है? और उन्होंने इंसर्ट क्या किया? To defeat the concept of mutuality, they have inserted AA, thereby telling the activity or a transaction by a person other than an individual to its members or constituent or vice versa, for cash, deferred payment or other valuable consideration. Thereby meaning mutuality will not exist. हम उस पे टैक्स करेंगे. They want to defeat. I personally believe it will take time, means you have to wait for a longer period of time, that this type of attempts they have also made in service tax. Not once, not twice, thrice. Still Supreme Court is in their favor. Now, can we see another Calcutta High Court, Calcutta Club in period of GST? That time will test and tell. But as of now, presently, if अगर पंगा नहीं करना है, लड़ना डिपार्टमेंट से नहीं लड़ना है, ठीक है, तो they have excluded the mutuality concept from GST. Now they are telling that sir हमको टैक्स चाहिए. And if after reading law and after going through the entire gambit of the GST, if anybody dares to fight this case, it is a still fightable case, because mutuality is a concept, it is a principle, it cannot be defeated by law. ठीक है? अगर मैं इंस्टीट्यूट का मेंबर हूं तो हूं, ठीक है? अगर किसी लॉ में लिख देंगे कि अगर मैं डॉक्टर क्लब का मेंबर हूं तो ही मैं सीए कहलाऊंगा, वो नहीं हो सकता, वो पॉसिबल ही नहीं. So my main concept is this will take time to settle down more, but as of now, government is desperate to collect revenue on this type of transactions, which they did earlier also. If anybody will take down to the logical conclusion, or they will take down to this entire developments right from negative list, they will come to know that is not much far difference. There is only one difference constitutionally. Constitutionally, GST is introduced by Article 241. However, 269 is still not deleted. So अभी थोड़ा ambiguity है कि constitutional backup मेरे हिसाब से limited purpose is not available to this type of cases, but court will tell. Friends, Sudhir ji allowed me time till 7. I think this is the last slide. I am going through this case studies. I have just developed for you, which we may be discussing at some later point of time. Duty paid on a transaction which is held ultra virus. मतलब ड्यूटी अगर किसी कोर्ट ने, सुप्रीम कोर्ट या हाई कोर्ट ने बोली अल्ट्रा वायरस, in these cases limitation won't apply. One another interesting case have come up recently, that any duty which is paid during investigation or search will be termed as duty paid under protest. So ये और नीचे वाला दोनों केस में, if you are not agreeing to any portion, any liability, anything which is not in as per your understanding is correct, you have to just simply mention that it is paid under protest. This is not law, friends. This is a concept which was earlier also used, and in GST also many people are using. Undisputed fact that duty paid under protest is totally out for calculation of period of limitation to claim back refund. Now, wrong payment of tax, that section 77 and 19 of IGST, it is very clear that refunds are allowed of the wrong payment, but you have to pay the correct tax again without interest. That has been provided in the law itself. So, friends, I am done here with. I've tried to justify the views and the things within the limited period of time which has been allotted to me. I understand कि बहुत कॉम्प्लेक्स सब्जेक्ट है और 1 घंटा बहुत शॉर्ट टाइम है टू कवर अप एंटायर गैम्बिट, बट होप एंड that you had good understanding of the basics, and hope this may help you out. Thank you for the entire team of CP for allowing me to speak before you people and giving this opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you, Pramirji, for nicely deliberating on the issue of this refund in.
Thank you, sir.
एक query है sir.
Going thanks. Now I would like to invite CS Sudhir ji for posing the queries what he has received from the members. Sudhir ji.
Yeah, please.
एक query ये है sir. What is the concept of professional and refunds in GST?
I am not getting. What is the concept of
What is the concept of professional and refunds in GST?
So there is no concept of professional and refunds.
I think he want to just know that without professional certificates, refund could not be issued.
I think he is talking of CA.
Yes, I think it may be this.
So if my screen is visible, that point is already covered.
Yeah.
That 2 लाख के नीचे CA सर्टिफिकेट की जरूरत नहीं है, और 2 लाख के ऊपर CA सर्टिफिकेट चाहिए, वो भी लिमिटेड केस के अंदर, कि भाई जहां पे ड्यूटी बर्डन आपके एसएससी ने बियर किया है वो प्रूव करने के लिए डिपार्टमेंट इज रिलाइंग ऑन CA सर्टिफिकेट टू सैंक्शन.
One is my personal query, sir.
Yeah, please.
If a refund, if we have paid the tax on the higher slab.
Higher slab means?
That I have to pay only the 5%, but we have paid 18% tax on some items and some supplies, just contract pay.
Okay.
But, or jabki department have taking the bill from us only the 5% GST and paid the only 5% GST.
Correct.
Then, but unfortunately, previous consultant have deposited the 18% GST on those amounts.
Sir, this is
The
a
period of
clear,
2 years has lapsed.
sir, it is a clear case of wrong payment, and as
Wrong
per
payment.
me,
Yeah, wrong.
limitation won't apply.
Won't apply. Okay.
No, you have to establish that this is not a tax itself. जो
Okay.
हमने भरा है वो 13% का टैक्स ही नहीं है भाई साहब, वो डिपॉजिट है. And
Yeah.
you see, there is also one judgment. I will dig out and give it to you. As there is a concept of unjust enrichment on SSE, there is also a judgment of unjust enrichment on department and revenue, government. भाई आज गवर्नमेंट का हक ही नहीं है 5% से ज्यादा लेने का, और उन्होंने 18 ले लिया, तो गवर्नमेंट इज ऑल्सो एनरिचिंग अनजस्टली विद द डिफरेंस ऑफ 13%. वो भी अलाउड नहीं.
Okay. But if these payments are charged by the subcontractor from the contractors,
So that
and
is
contractors
immaterial.
have deposited 18%, then
So that is immaterial. Refund will be given to that person who is ultimately bearing the burden of duty.
okay.
उसके अलावा वो आपको क्या बोलते हैं, रिफंड नहीं देंगे.
Right.
अगर आपने 18% भरा और आपने 18% किसी और से कलेक्ट कर लिया, then the burden of duty is passed on.
Okay.
हाँ, उसका एक ही रास्ता है, आप अपनी बुक्स में उतनी ड्यूटी का क्रेडिट नोट डालें.
Okay.
वो क्रेडिट नोट डाल के you establish that burden of duty is now on me, please give me refund. Those type of cases are also available in judiciary.
Okay. Okay.
Book entry is recognized as a valid entry.
Okay. But book entries can be passed after 2 years.
Yeah, why not? Correction entry तो मैं कभी भी डाल सकता हूँ.
Right.
I think accounting standard 9 भी allow करता है शायद. I don't practice audit and such things, so I am unaware. But I think correction entries may be allowed. Yes. वो इनकम टैक्स में डिसेला होगा, एला होगा, वो स्टोरी छोड़ दो सर. आप करेक्शन एंट्री कभी भी पास कर सकते.
Right. Thank you.
वेलकम.
Thank you, sir. I think now we do not have any more questions. Pramit sir has elaborated very well.
In this
already
scenario
we
only I
understand
can
all the
speak.
things and the-
क्या तो लोगों को कुछ समझ में नहीं आया?
नहीं.
Yeah, इतना समझ में आया.
That they have not query for
इतना
that.
well explained है, sir. So now I would like to invite CA Pradeep Tiwari ji, very senior member from Bareilly branch, for formal vote of thanks of the second session. Pradeep ji, welcome.
Thank you, Moderator Ajit Nath ji. First of all, I am thankful on my behalf and behalf of Bareilly branch. I am thankful to young and dynamic Puru Verma ji for his deliberation, nice deliberation. And for second session, I am thankful to Praveen ji. Very wonderful, helpful, useful deliberation, refund in GST. Very useful, sir, very useful. Or I think I am thankful to members who have raised few queries only, because they have know all about from your deliberation. तो चूंकि जो आपके डेलिब्रेशन से उनकी समझ में आ गया, शायद इसलिए क्वेरी उन्होंने कम करी. मैं समझता हूँ शायद यही इस सेशन की सफलता है.
होप समझ में आ जाए सर.
नहीं सर, बिल्कुल समझ में आएगा. बहुत अच्छी तरीके से आपने समझाया और आई होप कि निश्चित रूप से हम लोगों के लिए बहुत ही यूजफुल ये सेशन है. और मैं धन्यवाद करना चाहूंगा अपनी सीपी कमेटी की चेयरपर्सन कैमसा जी का और वाइस चेयरमैन चरणजोत सिंह नंदा जी का, जिन्होंने बीच में आके हम लोगों को अपना आशीर्वाद भी दिया. बरेली ब्रांच की तरफ से सभी मेंबर्स का धन्यवाद करूंगा जिन्होंने इसको किसी भी तरीके से इन एनी मोड हु हैव जॉइंड दिस सेशन. एंड बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद अजीत नाथ जी का, ब्रांच का, और आप दोनों हमारे स्पीकर्स का, प्रवीण जी का और पुरी जी का, इस बहुत नाइस डेलिब्रेशन के लिए बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद. बहुत बहुत
थैंक यू सर.
Thank you, sir, for your kind words, sir. So now we are at the end of the session. So I would like to invite Sudhir ji once again for concluding remarks. Sudhir ji.
Thank you, Ajit ji. I think the deliberation is so nice that all the things are very much clear to all the participants and the intents, whatever they have joined this meeting. and that's why that there is no number of queries is raised from Praveenji, and all the things I think so nicely covered in this deliberations and in this PPT that nothing is left. That's why there's no query of the members, and I think the whole sessions was very live and very interactive and very lively. You have made it, which is very much understandable to all of us. Thank you, Praveenji, for your nice deliberations, and our Ajit Nath ji for moderating all these things so nicely. Pradeep Tiwari ji and all our speakers, Faruji, thanks, or in our committee, CPC committee, whole of the committee, and the members who have organized this seminar in so nice and lovely way. Thanks to all. Thank you very much.
Thanks to all of you, sir. Pradeep ji, Sri, both the faculties, and to members as well for huge participation. So now we'll be meeting next on 26th of January, Wednesday in Wednesday Word of Wisdom at 5 o'clock. Thank you. Thanks to all of you for joining. Thank you, sir.